Alright. Yo, I am hyphen X, and welcome to the Great Conversation Podcast, where we indulge in healthy dialogue about topics that are important in today's society and culture. Thank y'all for coming back to us, rocking with us. Man, we are in for a great conversation today. Remember that this is a live interactive show. You are able to ask any questions that you may have, any questions, comments, concerns, right there in the comment area. Okay, we may bring your comment up on screen, or later on, we may even bring you on screen with us to say your piece. Okay, today's show sponsor is sponsored by Manifest Your Desires by Goal Setting Journal by Janez X Cochran. Start your new year off right. Make your desires clear and track your progress and hold yourself accountable. The Manifest Your Desires by Goal Setting Journal is designed to organize words and strategies in ways that you can hold yourself accountable and measure your success. Time to put in the work and create the blueprint for your desires. Okay, that's available over on Lulu. I'll have the link posted in the comments. Okay, you can click on that and go ahead and start holding yourself accountable. Go ahead in the comments, man. Let me know where you're listening from. This is our live interactive show. We got some heavy hitters on tonight. One moment here. I'm going to go ahead and tag some folks. See if we can get some of our Facebook friends over here. I'll be a little bit different. 2023, the question still looms. Is the earth flat? Is it round? I got CEO Brother Henry on. I got Free Thinker Chanel on. I got Sister Keishonda coming back. I got the street scientist Bobby L on. I got some real folks on here. I'm about to bring them on here. I'm just stalling for time. You know how we do. All right, I'm going to bring our guests on. Free Thinker Chanel, thank you for joining the conversation. How you doing?
I'm fine. How about you?
I'm awesome. I'm looking forward to a great conversation.
Woo.
Tell people a little bit about yourself.
Well, as you just heard, I'm Chanel. I don't really go by any titles like free thinker or whatever. I'm just me. Um, Bubbly person. I like to have fun, and I am here for a good time, not necessarily to argue or debate, just for the experience. So, hope it's a good one.
All right, so let's go ahead and just put it out there. Where do you stand? Earth flat or is it round?
I'm kind of in between, but more on the flatter side. But yeah.
Okay, more in between, but on the flatter side. All right. I'm going to bring on CEO Brother Henry here. Brother Henry, thank you for joining the conversation.
What's popping?
Let the people know who. Yep, let the people know who you are, man. If they don't know, he's not a stranger here, though.
CEO Brother Henry is interesting. I agreed to do the podcast since my last 50 podcasts have all been entrepreneurship. So it's fun to get away and do something that's a little bit different. Typically I'm teaching entrepreneurship, how to get a bag, how to stack your cheese, how to run your business properly as a business coach. But this is fun to get into. Like, don't get it twisted though. Like, we're here to have a good time. I definitely want to hear the thoughts, the opinions, the ideas. Like, I want to feel where people is at, have a good time, vibe out. But don't forget, man, I'm a student of the minister. So, that always come into play. So, But other than that, man, let's vibe out. Let's do it. Let's turn up. Let's get it.
Okay, boom. So I have to ask the question so that everybody's position is clear. Flat or round?
My passport says round, man. Listen, it's stamped up.
Wow.
Passport says round. Ain't
He
no way
said
around
round and round we go. Where we stop, nobody knows.
Round and round.
All right, I'm going to be bringing on the street scientist, Bobby L.
Yo, what's going on?
Yo, what's the word, man? Thank you for joining the conversation. Let the people know who you are, what you do.
What's happening, man? I'm Amir Mohammed. You know, I go by Bobby L. Man, Joe, kindergarten teacher. I cook at KFC. That's where I'm at now. And man, I got a couple things going on, man. I got a newspaper coming soon. I got my clothing line going on, True North. You can get at me. Kids Kicks. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. You feel me?
Boy, say he everywhere.
Yeah,
everywhere
man.
your thumbs can take you, that's where he at. So I'm about to ask you, man. Flat or round?
Man, it's a table, man. It's a table, man.
My man said we sitting on a table. Are we a centerpiece or are we on the outskirts? I don't know. Last but certainly not least, we got Sister Keishonda about to come on. Sister Keishonda, thank you for joining the conversation.
Thank you for having me, brother.
Not a problem. Thank you for coming on. Let the people know who you are. Give us a little bit about you.
My name is Sis Keishonda. That's it. I'm Keishonda.
All right, that's Sister Keishonda, y'all. Right there. Boom. She's her. Where you at? Flat or round?
The earth is round.
All right, so I kind of like what we got going here. We got international dynamics. Right now, guys, if you're watching this live right now, go ahead and drop me a 1 in the comments section and let me know. What do you stand? Round, flat, triangle? What is it? Okay. You know what? I'm gonna jump right. I know what I want to do. I know who I want to talk to first. Street science.
Yo, what's the word, man?
You said we on the table, my man.
That's where we at, my boy.
Educate me.
Man, all you got to do is look at the stars, man. The stars gonna tell you. Polaris never moves. That's the North Star. It never moves.
So that's the true point of north. You say never moves. Okay, somebody said they got round. That's what you got for us. That's it.
No, that's just the start. That's just the start. I want somebody
go. Okay, so anybody wanted to combat that? Or my man said that makes no sense at all. Shaking my damn. I don't know what's that. What's HMDHH? I don't know. Shaking my damn head. Hell, I don't know. But he said it don't make no damn sense.
Ask him, have you ever seen the North Star move?
All right, well, he challenges that. Have you ever seen the North Star move? It on your passport when you flying, going from continent to continent, continent to island. CEO Brother Henry, because you said your passport says round. Have you ever seen the North Star move?
Listen. I'm not gonna tell you about the stars. I'm not no astrologist to that point, but I will tell you on that note. One thing that you can notice, go back to your passport. In the northern hemisphere, the sky rotates clockwise. The southern hemisphere, it rotates counterclockwise. And actually, the higher up you go in elevation, the constellations you see actually changes. So just being in different places, different spaces, you'll see things from different views. I ain't gonna try to break it down like I'm a NASA scientist. Like, yo, this is the Orion's belt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It ain't that deep, but yeah, the sky definitely. The stars that we see here are not the same stars that you see. Like, for instance, if you go far enough south of the equator, so Brazil, Peru, Chile, Argentina, Bolivia, the southern islands that are below the equator, the sky and the stars rotate counterclockwise. Up here, they rotate clockwise, right? And that's because of the Earth's rotation, right? It's the same reason that sunset and sunrise are different all over the planet at the same time, right? They're not the same at the same time, right? But that only happens if you got a sphere. If you have a flat surface, that's a consistently scientifically impossible to get those two running unless there's some science that we just don't know about. You feel me?
But that's what theories are, right?
Not so much a theory. We know that the sky rotates clockwise in one spot, and we know it rotates counterclockwise in the southern hemisphere. Right? You can just watch the sky, or you know how to get the cell phone. You do those fast videos. If you do the fast video of the sky up here, it's going to be going this way. If you do it down south, it's going to be going that way. So it's not really theory. It's just which way the sky is moving. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly what you said. The sky is moving, not necessarily the earth, because the earth, I believe, is on a tilt. And that's why you get all these different, what you call it, what you just say, atmosphere and all that stuff. And the sky is actually rotating around the earth, not vice versa. You can't really believe everything the government tells you. Honestly.
You said the sky is rotating around the earth?
Yes, the sun, the moon, and all that is rotating, and we're standing still.
The sun is moving, and the moon is moving, and we're sitting still.
Yes.
So how do you explain? So you saying the sun is going up and down?
No, the sun is going.
It's rotating.
The sun is going. That's why I look right. That's why it get hot, and then that's how the wind the weathers change. How the sun becoming closer to the northern point, and then moving back out. That's why in Alaska, that's why they had so many days in Alaska where they had straight sun for hours and hours and hours and hours.
No night.
Do you know that when we have summertime here, it's wintertime in Australia?
Yes.
So
they get snow in Australia?
When we have summer, it's wintertime in Australia.
I'm talking about, do they get snow in Australia?
I don't know if they get snow in Australia. I'm pretty sure some places they do, but because we got snow in Cairo, and Vegas, so it can snow anywhere. But seasons, though, right? Your seasons.
Yeah.
To have summertime on one side and to have wintertime on another side, on a flat Earth, we should all be experiencing the same seasons at the same time, right? Because it's 180 degrees. So even if the Earth was on a tilt, which I'm not sure how that would happen, you got to break that down for me. But the fact that you get multiple seasons in multiple places at the same time is showing you the Earth's axis, but not a flat axis, right? It's an axis. In order for that to happen, you got to be able to have the sun hit different places at different times to get different seasons at the same time. The same way, it's just like sunset and sunrise, right? The sun doesn't set and the sun doesn't rise at the same time, the same way, in the same spot. Not even in the United States, let alone the rest of the world. So something, if it's flat, you got to be able to account for the whole Earth. You know what I'm saying? Everybody should be experiencing the same thing at the same time, the same way. It should be uniform, but it's not. It's unified, but it's not uniform. If y'all dig what I'm saying, it's we all experience it, but we experience it differently in different places in different ways. You know what I'm saying?
Doesn't mean it's round.
But it does though, because it means it's spherical. If it's flat, the shadow effect is going to be consistent across the entire planet. Like if it's flat, you should be able to see from one point of the Earth. Like you should be able to see 300, 400, 500 miles away if there's nothing in between, like across oceans and whatnot. If it's flat, but it doesn't happen that way, and the sun also doesn't happen that way. So there's something happening, and there's something happening that it's not quite saying. You can't quite say that Earth is flat and then explain different sunrises, different sunsets, different time zones, rotations of the Earth. Like there's all these basics, and we haven't got to know science yet. Just like the basic little things that what you get, that Earth space science. Y'all remember taking that class in school?
Nope.
Earth space science. Okay, I took it. It was for the slow kids who couldn't go straight to biology, so I know I took it. Okay, y'all better than me. Okay, I see. What's going on here? I had to take earth space science, and I'm not ashamed to admit I was not on the college track to go to college. I was on the track to get out to school. It's all good though.
So if you guys are just joining us, man, I am -X. This is the Great Conversation Podcast. We are talking about 2023. Is the world flat? Okay. We got a comment here. We do got a comment. It says, well, if the earth is flat, explain time zones. So if the earth is flat, explain time zones.
We just
I'm
did.
gonna let one of my, I don't want to say flat earthers because I don't want to label anybody, but those on that opposing side of the those on the side of the earth being flat, can you explain the time zones? Because this is what I'm hearing. So I'm hearing that flatness, but the sun is moving. And so does the sun, then you said the sun and the sky are moving around the flat earth. Am I explaining that correctly?
Well, just think about it. Yeah, exactly. Okay. It's on a tilt, and it's going like this around us. It's rotating around us. We're not rotating around in space. They're rotating around us like that.
So how do you?
No, go ahead.
So if Earth is flat, does that mean that the other 9 planets in our galaxy are also flat? And the sun is rotating around all 9 planets?
Yeah, why not?
I'm not,
because, right.
So you're saying that the 9 planets are sitting still, and the sun is rotating around all 9 planets?
Sure.
Or are you saying that the sun is just simply spinning in the middle, and the planets are just sitting there, not moving? Because if that's the case, if I'm the sun and I'm sitting here in the middle, rotating, and I'm the earth, if I'm just spinning, I'm gonna hit the same spot on the earth over and over again. So how do you explain the sun hitting every part of the earth and every part of every other planet if they're not moving? If the sun is moving, if the sun is just spinning, you're not saying that the sun is rotating. You're saying that the sun is just simply spinning on an axis.
No, I didn't say that. I said it's rotating around, not spinning in one spot. I didn't say that. It's rotating. The sun and the moon are switching, and they're like going around like this around us, and it's on the tilt, and it's going around all 9 planets, like you said.
Do you believe?
So, and the sun rotating around.
Hold on, you cut out. What you say?
So the 9 planets are sitting in the middle of our galaxy, and the sun is rotating around all 9 planets?
Yeah, why not?
So let's think about this. You have 9 people standing in a line.
Okay.
And let's think about a basketball court. You have a basketball court that has half court, and everybody knows the big circle in the middle of the basketball court. Yes? So you have 9 people standing on one side of the basketball court. And you're saying that the sun, being the center of the court, is rotating around those 9 people. That's what you're saying.
If the people are standing in line and the sun and the moon are going around them, yes.
Say,
right, it's not a basketball, it's the sun and the moon. It's not the same.
So it's 9. Are you guys saying that it's 9 planets or 9 flat planets, and then the earth, the sun, which is round, is cycling around this table with these 9 flat planets?
What do you mean?
Okay, I'm going off Sister Keishonda's analogy. She said 9 people.
That's literally physically impossible. So that doesn't make sense to say that the sun is rotating around the 9 planets.
God can make anything possible, so it's technically not. True. God created.
Here's
Not
some
that
of the science. Here's some of the science.
Oh
Right?
boy.
Here's the science.
Science.
All 9 planets rotate at 1,037 and 1/3 miles per hour. Right?
Yeah.
Light is the
You say
reason
so.
that the planets rotate, because light travels at 186,000 miles per second. Right?
Right.
Okay.
But light has specific principles that cause the rotation of a thing. So whether the planet's round or flat, the reason.
But light, ain't the purest light black?
Yeah, but I'm not talking about pure black
So
light.
wouldn't the infinite universe do the same thing as the sun doing?
I can't say nothing to the infinite universe. I'm saying, listen, this is my question, right?
Yeah.
The sun's, if the Earth is flat, you're about to run into a scientific impossibility. And it's really an undeniable scientific impossibility. It's called gravity, right? Gravity
Is a theory.
needs a spear in order.
Yes.
Do y'all remember when you went to when you was a shorty going to like the carnivals or whatever, and they had a ride called the Gravitron? The reason the Gravitron works is because you need a spear to produce that type of gravity, right? And so the spear has to move at a certain speed, and like when you get on the ride, your body gets stuck to the side, you like pull your body off or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But you need the spear effect to produce gravity.
Are the sun and the moon not a sphere? I'm
Hey.
just saying.
No,
Hey, but look, right?
Well,
If you use that same analogy though, right?
right?
At the same time, that same machine you're talking about, what it did though, it spread it out. You feel me? That's how you got to sticking to it.
It spread what out? What do you mean?
From like it tilted like that. If I'm thinking about the same little machine you talking about, when you go in a circle.
The ride is consistent. It just spins in a circle like a washing machine or a dryer. It's why when you look inside your washer and dryer, everything sticks to the outside. It creates gravity. Gravity is a force, right? Gravity on a flat Earth, there's no science to support gravity on a flat Earth because you don't have the containment unit that you need to keep something contained with gravity. How gravity works in the pure simple science of gravity, right? But we know that the moon, which we can clearly see as a sphere, and the sun, don't look at it, but if you do look at it, we can clearly see as a sphere. We know that
we don't see that it's a sphere, we see it's a circle.
Well, we can assume it's a sphere based off the fact that if it was a circle and it's flat, it has to be. We live in a 3D, a three-dimensional universe, right?
Yes.
We have height, weight, width, and length. Everything we know in existence has height, width, and length, right? So I'm not saying I've been to the sun, but if we look at the basics of the moon is caught in the Earth's gravitational pull, which means gravity is not a theory. Gravity exists. If we doubt gravity exists, just go find a building. Go find
No.
Prove me wrong, right?
Don't say that.
We know gravity exists, but the way gravity exists, right?
Don't say that.
I'm just saying. Look, I just gave this lesson to our shorties at the school. Like, listen, we know gravity is real because if you go jump off a building, you can try to flap your wings, but you know what I'm saying? If you ain't built like that, if you ain't got that bird-like stature, you know what I'm saying?
No, I told her I wasn't going nowhere. I just had.
I'm gonna let he just put us on mute. I'm gonna let the street scientists retort that.
Yeah, definitely. Let's talk about gravity, because gravity. Here's the thing: we know in space that there is no gravity, right? So we know lack of a shape, lack of a containment, you can't produce gravity. There's no gravity in space, right? But we do know there's gravity on Earth. We do know the moon, and the gravitational pull of the moon pulls up the water, right? And which creates tides. And we also know that these other forces on the Earth exist, like wind.
What does this have to do with the Earth being flat? Now you going all left and right.
No, it's not
stick to the point. You trying to confuse us. Nope, I ain't buying it. Nope, I ain't buying it.
I'm curious.
The world is flat.
I'm gonna let my man Bobby answer, but I have a question for you to think about. Wind, like gravity, is another real force. How is wind produced on the planet unless you have something that is in a revolutionary state rotating to produce the force that you can't see but you feel called wind?
You in NASA?
Huh?
You and NASA? Do you believe in NASA?
Do I believe in NASA?
Yeah.
Like, do I believe the company exists?
I mean, it exists, but do you believe what they say?
This is what I believe. NASA knows that black people are the most advanced people on Earth, so they hide secrets.
No.
I mean, we probably all agree NASA hides secrets, right?
Okay.
Right.
We're getting somewhere. Now we're getting somewhere.
We also agree, before I get there, right? NASA, like most predominantly white institutions, when they find out true history about black people, they hide it, right? So
so why would they hide that the Earth's flat?
Here's another part of the problem that's not even science.
All right.
I'm on a history research team. I can promise you, if you go to Mesopotamia, the ancient Mesopotamia, ancient Egypt, or Kemet as they called it, right? If you go down with the Incas, the Aztecs, the Mayans, the Olmecs, any of these ancient civilizations, any of the Zhang dynasties, anywhere from China to Japan, if you go to the Dravidian culture, no matter where you go, you find black people that knew the world was populated and inhabited everywhere, but there's no black history that says the world is flat. A flat Earth is European history.
How come round Earth is not European history?
Retort.
They got pictures of. They got pictures of. They got hieroglyphics of flat Earth, of a flat Earth.
Non-cipher.
Show me.
If we want listen.
But
on my research team, I have people in Arabic.
Trust our research team.
I'm in the nation.
Don't trust them.
So I can't get Dr. Wesley on now, but I'm saying we can. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm connected. So I'm just saying.
Okay.
In ancient Egypt,
with the Illuminati.
Let me give y'all a clear, right? So I know Columbus, right? We know Columbus. Okay. Columbus's journal is public right now. You can go look it up, right? You can read it from front to back. When Columbus got to what we call the Dominican Republic, and he saw the Tainos that, they slaughtered, he also found at the same time he arrived 2 tall, dark-skinned Africans who were loading up their boat to go back to Africa because they were aware that there was black people here already, right? So Columbus documented in his journey that these black people look different than the Taino black people that he found that were here that we call Native Americans, right? But it's the point to say that black people in every civilization and culture around the earth already knew that the world was round. If you go to Chichen Itza in Mexico, there's a space station that the Mayans have set up. Like, we took our daughter, what was it, last year, 2 years ago? Keishonda? When the last time we was in Mexico?
Some years ago. A
couple years ago. In Chichen Itza, the Mayans have a space station set up that also says
y'all in cahoots.
Well, that's not right. So, I mean, we got to be in cahoots.
I ain't know that. Yeah, y'all in different parts. Y'all should have sat by side then. Nah.
Our house too big. We be
echoing off the trying to cover my Now you said you had connections, right?
It's not.
You said you had connections. Now that's how I know that you was sitting here to confuse us and to keep us in believing that the world. Hey, baby, that the world was flat. So you got connections. You connected with NASA and you connected with the Illuminati. And they said nope. And they said
that you and NASA are not.
Nope, I don't believe you. You know the world flat.
But do you believe in science?
Hold on, we're gonna. Real quick. What I would like to hear is the dialogue. So he just said something very kind of powerful. He said that the idea of a flat Earth is a European idea, and then this Bobby, you came back and you said that there were hieroglyphics of a flat Earth.
Yeah, you can look it for.
But can you elaborate on it?
No, I can't explain it. Yeah, I ain't gonna cap to you. I can't explain it. I don't know what type of explanation you're looking for, though. You hear?
Okay, so I have a question from someone who's inboxing me. They're saying, so why isn't the water, our ocean, stuck to the outside of our planet? Why do lakes and rivers have tides if the world isn't flat?
Why do they have tides? Or if the world isn't flat?
He's saying, so why don't the lakes and rivers have I don't know. Are you saying, hey bro, re-ask that question? Hold on, he's typing it again. Hold
I'm
on.
confused.
Don't have tides. I don't. I thought. Well, I thought we do have tides, bro. Let's go off the first. He said because he was going off the when you were talking about gravity, right? So he said, why is it the water of the ocean stuck to the outside of our planet based off of what you just said?
Why isn't it stuck to the outside of the
Does this
planet?
person believe the Earth is flat?
Right.
Or
Because
based off the spin. I believe this person is a flat earther.
can this person specify? Because their question don't make sense. I still understand their question. Can they specify if they gotta believe the Earth is flat? With this question.
Oh, you trying to come for us now? That was shade. I don't like that.
No,
You trying to cover us? No, now go sit side by side because it is what it is. Y'all are two different. No, I don't like that.
So give me something. Because I'm gonna ask the question here. Give me something that you guys will support of the Earth being flat. Like what science or evidence would you like to present?
The world was connected.
Hey.
It was broken apart.
Okay, so Pangea.
So can they what they got? So can they see the North Star from Chile?
I don't know.
I'm gonna assume yes.
Specifics. I know that.
Like, because if the North Star don't move, and he say that the stars rotate differently, that means the North Star would be different in Chile, right?
The constellations that you're gonna see are gonna change based on the elevation and the hemisphere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So question for flat earthers: How do you all explain longitude and latitude if the Earth is flat? And how do you explain the point in which Alaska and Russia meet? How do you explain that? If the Earth is flat, then it would have to be on a flat surface.
Look at the United Nations sign. Yeah,
here.
look at the United Nations sign, and you see how they connect.
How they connect?
Yeah.
So
on the United Nations sign.
I don't even know what that looks like. I gotta look it up.
There's a northern part of Russia. They don't connect, but they're very close to each other.
Yeah.
Because
where the Bering Strait was at.
How do you explain that if the Earth is flat? How would they meet if the Earth is flat? That doesn't make sense. For them to meet.
So are you guys saying it's flat as in a rectangle or flat in a different shape?
What? Nah, it's still a sphere or a circular thing. Honestly, I think it's more of like a cut in half
circle.
Like a cone?
I think it's a cut in half
Like
circle.
a cone?
Okay.
Yeah. Like
Hey, the sister said something
But
that
on
was
the tip.
I was gonna ask her about.
But to answer what you said, it's still up and down.
Yeah, hold it closer. Okay.
What am I looking at?
So
This
he's showing us the United Nations sign. So so what they're saying is it's not a rectangle. They're saying that it's round, and that's how the Alaska and Russia meet.
Saying what is round?
They're saying that the Earth. They're saying that the Earth is a flat, round disc. That's what they're saying.
You see how they meet?
Not necessarily.
So then, how do you explain the north? So then, how do you explain the north? Wait.
Tap the screen.
No, I get that. So how do you explain the North and the South Pole if that's the case? Because they're completely polar
connected. They don't even have that anymore. They don't even have that anymore.
You say the North Pole don't exist?
So are you saying one of the two poles
I
don't
say
exist?
that. I'm saying it's connected.
So then how do you explain
up and down
the North Pole? You just showed me a picture of the North Pole. How do you explain the South Pole if the Earth is flat?
There is no South Pole.
No, I'm about to say, hey, man. Hey, you find me a company that goes south.
Aaron has just joined the stream.
Hey,
Aaron has just
Find
joined
me
the
a company
chat.
that goes south.
Let me go back right quick.
What's up, lady? How you doing?
Let me go back right quick because really, Black history should answer all these questions.
Oh,
Hey, man, stop redirecting.
Hey, good one, brother Henry. That was a good one.
Man, stop redirecting.
Y'all do know that the original Eskimos are black, right?
Of course.
I wouldn't say
And they walk the flat earth.
Wait. Hold that thought.
Hold on.
Hold that thought, because I know where you're gonna go. Hold that thought. Hold that thought, Hen. Hold that thought, Hen. Hold that thought, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Great Conversation Podcast. I am the I am -X. We're talking about, is the Earth flat? Aaron has just jumped on, and I kind of want to know where Aaron stands before Hen goes into the Eskimos. I remember what you were saying.
Hey, thank you for stopping Henry from going left again. Hey, please don't fire me, but we finna speak freely. You know what I'm saying? Listen, there is no curvature on flat Earth. Y'all been listening to this man redirect questions. He told you he tight with a minister. They don't never answer questions directly. Come on now.
Go ahead, Aaron. That's what I'm talking about.
Come on now. There is no curvature on flat Earth. Talking about the stars spin backwards when you go down south. Your passport never showed you no stars spinning backwards, man. Come on now.
No, not stars. Wait, hold on. All right.
Go crazy.
D, this is what I need folks to do.
Here we go.
And travel south. Okay?
When you go, I can explain it for you, Henry. When you go south, you are going to see things that are closer to the edge. That's it. They're not spinning opposite direction.
Let's peep this out for a second. The sister said something that was key. She said something about all the continents used to touch, right? And know what you said, sis?
I did.
Right, so on a flat Earth, again, back to science class, freshman year, I need y'all to explain continental drift to me. Because continental drift is a mathematical, scientifically, biologically, physically, and chemically impossibility on a flat Earth. So
you're exactly wrong. How you gonna say something is impossible on a flat Earth, but you don't believe in a flat Earth or know the model of a flat Earth? You're exactly wrong.
Because we understand models.
So you all
I can tell you about continental drift right now on a flat Earth.
Okay, so let them answer that, and then we're gonna go to Sister Keishonda.
So I have a question.
Well, let Aaron answer the question about the continental drift, and then we'll go to Sister Keishonda.
Okay.
Now, the oceans are rising and lowering. The water is moving around in our ocean. Our continents are land masses that are stuck to the bottom of the ocean's floor. If you move that water, you'll continue to move that land mass. Next question.
All right, so let me clear up some science before Keishonda goes. Let me clear up science. If the continents were stuck, then that's the complete opposite of continental drift. Continental drift says that every year the continents, even if it's inches, the continents are moving apart, right? Which is why we know, why there's a belief that at one point in time all of the continents connected, right? Because if you look at the east coast of South America, you find bones for the same African.
Hold on, if everyone can mute, if you're not talking right now, if you can mute yourself so that we can hear what everyone is saying.
So we discussing continental drift, or we discussing the Earth being flat or not?
No, continental drift is proof that the Earth is not flat. So this was my question, right? You said that the continents were stuck to the bottom of the ocean. I said, because the sister mentioned a good point. She said, well, all of the continents used to touch at one point, but now, due to continental drift, right, the continents are moving. So this is my point. She's correct, right? Because on the east coast of South America, they found bones of elephants, rhinoceroses, giraffes, all the animals that we find on the west coast of Africa, right? Even though those animals are no longer in South America, but the bones of those animals are still on the east coast of South America, meaning at one point in time,
we agree that Pangea is real.
Sure, we can agree, whatever you want to call it. But my point is that on a flat Earth, you're not going to get continental drift. Continental drift happens from the force of gravity of the moon, the round moon that we see pulling on the Earth. So continental.
I'm glad you said it. You just put your foot in your mouth right there. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
The way that gravity works, how does a smaller object have a gravitational pull on the larger object?
The moon doesn't have its own gravity. The moon is caught in the Earth's gravity. How do we know there's more proof? Because Earth ain't the only planet that got moons.
So how is it that the moon's gravity is affecting a larger object? Gravity, the larger objects have gravity. Okay, so what's causing the tides? You just said that a little while ago with the tide question.
Let's ask a question and then allow the person to answer.
Yeah, the moon doesn't have its own gravity. The moon is pulling on the water of the Earth, the moon is caught in the Earth's gravitational pull. The moon doesn't have its own gravity. So think about at nighttime. We see the same side of the moon all the time. The moon's not rotating. The moon is still. The moon doesn't.
The moon is rotating around us. We see the inside of the moon. We never see the back of the moon.
My point exactly. The moon, we see the same side of the moon every time. The moon doesn't have its own gravitational pull. There's no gravity on the moon. The gravity is on Earth, and the moon is caught in the Earth's the moon is caught in the Earth's gravitational pull. That's basic science class.
So I wanted to go back to the North and the South Pole. So
go right ahead.
You have, if you look at like you showed, I guess it was what did you say? The UN map, I guess.
Yeah.
The AE map.
In the UN map, you see, basically, you see the northern part of Africa. You see Greenland, you see Iceland. You see all of that, right? But my question is, you said there's no South Pole.
Right.
If you go south, how do you explain South America? How do you explain Antarctica if there is no South Pole? Because
Antarctica is the end of it.
It's the end of what? Because you said it didn't exist. How can you have the end of something that doesn't exist?
I never said Antarctica didn't exist.
Is Antarctica the edge? Is that the edge we're talking about?
Yeah.
Who said
Antarctica is the edge. Once you get past Antarctica, you're not gonna. If you keep going, you're not gonna wrap around and end up at the North Pole. There is no polar south. So once you get to Antarctica, you finna meet the military. Every single country's military is right there for a reason.
Absolutely.
So you're saying that the Earth. Not only are you all saying that the Earth is flat, but you're also saying that the Earth is a disc.
Yes. There you go.
Absolutely.
Okay. So that again. How do you explain Russia and Alaska touching one another if the Earth is a disc? Because that means they would have to be on the complete opposite end of the disc. And
they would not have to be. No. The map that you should look at to tell where the continents are is
let her finish. Okay. She has a question coming up. Let her finish get to the question. Go ahead, Sis Keishonda.
So if those two continents touch each other, let's assume that I start in Alaska and I head east. Right? You guys with me? I'm in Alaska. Yeah. I'm in that northern part. And I'm in Alaska and I head east. To the south of me is going to be Canada. It's going to be North America. As I keep going east, eventually to the south of me is going to be Africa. And to the south of me is going to be Europe. As I keep going east, to the south of me, I'm going to run into Russia. As I keep going east, I'm going to run into Siberia. As I keep going east, I'm going to end up to south of me is going to be Japan and China and Asia. And as I keep going east, eventually I'm going to come back to that northern tip of Russia. How do you explain the Earth being a disc if that happens? Again, wait, let me finish. Let me ask it again. Let's say I'm at the same point in the northern hemisphere like you all are talking about. I don't start in Alaska. I go across the and I start in Russia and I go west. As I go west of Russia, to the south of me is Russia, Siberia, Europe, Africa. After Europe, Africa, South America, North America, Canada, and eventually I get back to Alaska. How can the Earth be a flat surface that's a disc that never, if those two continents meet back up? The only way for that to happen if it's round. So my question is, explain to me how Russia, the northern hemisphere, in the North Pole, how do you explain Russia and Alaska meeting one another?
Okay, so she asked her question.
Walking in a circle.
Chanel said because you're walking in a circle. That kind of makes sense to me. That. Okay, what do you? Tell us what you're showing. Tell us what you're showing.
It's called the azimuthal equidistant projection. It shows basically what people call the flat Earth map. It's answering the question that Keishonda is asking. All you guys are thinking is basically we're walking around on a sphere when actually the exact same continents are aligned a little bit differently on a table. The same way Bobby L said at the beginning.
So wait. Ask another question.
I can answer any question you can ask me. Go ahead. Let me answer it though.
You go to Antarctica, you can do this thing. How do you start at one point in Antarctica, go around the country and get back? Go around the world and get back to that same point if the earth is flat? You just told me that I get to a wall. Walls don't exist on circles. So how do you explain the wall in Antarctica?
Okay. You can put a wall on a circle by making a circular wall. The azimuthal equidistant map explains it exactly. You're walking the opposite way that you're thinking. You're thinking you're traveling around this way, forward, going backwards, but you're traveling around this way. That's the only difference. Things are going this way. It's the same way you fly on an airplane, the same way you fly on a plane. You never go down on the plane. You just go straight the whole entire time. So imagine if you're on your feet, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to go straight the whole entire time.
I didn't catch
Right,
that.
so you're saying like this.
This is what I do know. Geometry, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us Islam is mathematics and mathematics is Islam, and it can be proven at no limited time. A straight line is 180 degrees.
And
a straight line has an A point and a B point, meaning they start and an end. It's mathematically impossible to have an A point and a B point, and to have an A point and a B point that connect. That's not a straight line.
That's not a straight line.
Degrees.
Exactly. That is a 180 degree circle. That's math. That's geometry.
Hold on.
You cannot touch 180 degrees. Those lines are called parallel.
Hey, and y'all wrong together. I love y'all, but y'all wrong together. Y'all so cute. Y'all so cute.
Well, where's my gavel?
Y'all adorable.
Where's my gavel? Order!
Y'all adorable.
Facts though.
I know that's right, boo.
Nah, not at all. Azimuthal equidistant. Everybody got a phone. Just Google it and look at it.
Hold on. Woo!
Let me make this point. Let me make this point.
Hold on.
180 degrees.
I need to hear what's happening.
180 degrees is a straight line. A straight line entails you have points on a line, right? Point A, point B. It doesn't matter how long away, how far away. Point A, point B is a straight line. 180 degrees. You can't travel 180 degrees and get the same effect as if you're traveling 360 degrees. There's a reason that 180 degrees is called a straight line and 360 degrees is called a circle. You cannot travel a 180 and still get a 360. That doesn't even make sense. If our children came to class and said 100 degrees,
y'all coming up with these metaphors that don't actually apply to the situation, though.
Wait, what doesn't?
Y'all coming up with these metaphors that don't actually apply to the situation. You talking about walking in a straight line. You talking about walking in a straight line will never get you in a circle. That has nothing to do with being on a table or a sphere.
No, listen to what I'm telling you.
I've been listening hard.
In the most simplest sense, when you first get to geometry class and you get your little, what's it called, the protractor and compass? You have to draw a straight line through the circle to find the diameter of the circle, right? We all understand this. That line is called, the middle points of a circle is called 180 degrees. I got a question. So Bobby, Chanel, and Aaron, we're going to use that analogy right there with the protractor. So are you saying that the point without the point is the northern star? That's what I'm asking.
Yes.
The point in the middle?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yes.
Are you saying
move.
If you were to ascend upwards, is that what you're saying? If you're going into the sky, airplane?
What?
I don't know.
Hold on,
I don't understand what was. Anyway, listen.
I was trying to understand where they're trying to say the northern star is, and I was just trying to relate it to what you were saying, because what I'm hearing is they're saying that the Earth is flat disc and it's round like this, and you're saying that in the middle, which we may call the equator, in the middle that would be the 180 degree straight line.
Yeah.
Right.
Let me tell y'all.
Okay.
So then, Bobby, ask the question. So if I start at that point,
math class.
Let's say I start at that northern point that I'm referring to.
Circle.
I start and I turn around and that.
Y'all gotta take turns. Y'all can't be doing that.
I'm with y'all. I'm following what you're trying to say.
A straight line.
Listen.
A straight line.
Let's say let me ask you my question.
Wait, hold on. Let me
northern point. Let's say that northern point is to my back. If I start walking on a straight line, how is it that I make it back to that point?
To where you started. It's impossible.
You don't. Nobody's telling you that you do. That's what I'm saying. You're assuming all of these incorrect metaphors.
So,
Nobody is saying that you're going to take off walking in a straight line and come back where you started from. You're going to make a circle.
But it's okay. So listen what I'm telling you.
But then the earth
I think they're asking where does the curve come in to make that
Walk in
turn?
a straight line and make
So
it
listen
back
what I'm
to that
telling you.
straight line.
This is
Also
like my
said,
Earth,
Google
right?
it and I'll show you the map.
This is my Earth, right? If point A is
Okay, so
Alaska,
I'm with
Brother
you.
Henry has a.
I'm with him. I'm with him.
Point A
I'll
is
see it.
Alaska.
Yes.
I want to travel to get back to Alaska. If I take a straight line, if the world is flat and I take a straight line, I'm never going to end up where I started. Because
So
a flat line
can I
is
pause you right
180
there?
degrees.
Can I pause you right there? The
Hold
reason
on,
I want,
hold on,
right.
Let me finish. If
but
I
nobody's ever done what you're talking about.
That's cap.
Hold on.
Oh my God. Who's walked around? Who's flown around the backside of the earth?
Allow them to answer the question. Allow them to answer the question.
I didn't finish answering the question.
Okay,
Listen.
so let Henry ask this question, and then y'all answer the question.
Let's
This
go.
That's the only way we're gonna be
geometry.
able to make sense out of any
This
of this.
is sophomore year geometry in high school, right? We're acting like the laws of physics and the laws of math don't apply to what we're talking about. Right?
But we're not. I'm not saying that at all.
So
hold on.
If you have a 180-degree line, if I start walking straight, I'm never going to end where I started unless I break from the 180 degrees.
I got pen and paper
The only way that I can get back to where I started is if I go in a circle. So when Keishonda asked longitude and latitude, right? Longitude and latitude are 180-degree lines that are consistent that will take you all the way around the earth. Now, if you're saying that geometry, if you're saying geometry is not applicable to the earth, that's fair if you believe that. I don't believe geometry is not applicable because I see homes, I see workers, I see builders. We use geometry every day. I play PlayStation, right? So geometry can be proven. What can't be proven is the opposite of geometry. So all I'm saying is this right here has to make this right here has to make sense, y'all. That's what I'm saying to y'all. Y'all got to prove this to me so I can feel where you're coming from.
I can't really hear you, bro.
Okay. All right. So who's going to answer that question? Is somebody in council right now? Is somebody in council?
Hey, Aaron doing two podcasts at the same time.
So can someone answer the question? Or if you don't understand the question, say that, and then Henry, if you can just ask a direct question.
Yeah, I don't get it because it's like, I don't know.
What don't you understand?
He's asking, how can the earth be flat if you can't walk the straight line through it? The 180 degrees, you have to defer from the 180 degrees in order for it to come back to your start point. Am I correct?
So this is back to geometry class. If this is hold on, let me do my marker. I feel like I'm in school right now. Right? I don't teach no math classes though. Don't get it twisted. If this is point A online and this is point B, the only way, hold on. Okay, I gotta find my camera. It's all weird. If I start at point A, right? The only way I can get back to point A if I start walking towards point B is if this straight line is on a sphere. If it's on a flat surface, mathematically, you're going to have a bunch of 90-degree angles, but outside of 90-degree angles, you're never going to get back to point A. The only way you can get back to point A is if this 180-degree line that we call longitude wraps itself around a sphere that's 360 degrees. Like, this is just plain math.
Just go back the other way. What are you talking about?
No, I got you. I got you. Let me know when it's time for the other people to talk.
Somebody
go ahead and answer the people to talk.
Just go back the other
Go
way.
ahead, Aaron. You want to answer the question? Go ahead and answer it.
Yes. Okay. Now,
so now say go back the other way.
It's the only thing. Y'all perception is what's blocking y'all reality. For real. Y'all talking about being on a sphere, right?
Correct.
And getting from one side to the other side, okay?
You got a basketball. I like how you proving our point.
Nah.
No.
The only problem is this. You're looking at it Who can hold the phone and the mic at the same time? Okay, now you looking at it.
We can't see it.
As if you're going around this way. But in reality,
why don't you use the lines on the basketball so that it'll make it, it'll make it more plain for me?
No.
you want a piece of paper going in a circle. The same thing is happening in a circle. I told y'all to look up the map, the azimuthal equidistant map. The same question you was asking Keishonda about going from Russia to Alaska is explained in color and detail. The only thing that I'm saying, Brother Henry, is nobody's going around the back side of the earth. Nobody's going from the North Pole to the South Pole going south. It's not happening. Nobody's transit the earth going around the way that we discuss it. Only things move the same way the planes do, around the surface of the earth, on top of it.
Okay, so listen to my question though, right? Whether or not somebody's gone north to south, we can still start with point A, head towards point B, and end up at point A, which means.
But nobody's ever done that, though. You're using that example to say people have walked around the globe. It hasn't happened.
No, okay, so now when y'all say I'm all over the place, it goes back to Black history. Right?
You're breaking up.
Alaska, the original people in Alaska prior to the Taínos are Black. The original, and those people had contact with the people in Egypt. The pyramids in Alaska line up perfectly with the pyramids in Mexico and the pyramids in Peru and the pyramids in Egypt, meaning all of these civilizations and China, all of these civilizations.
I thought in the southern hemisphere they had different star systems.
I agree with you, Henry. I agree with you, Henry. And how did they align them all up?
What I'm saying is that culturally, all of these people, even though they're different cultures, the Mayans are not the same as, say, the Pygmy, right? The Pygmy is a tribe
keep going.
Different from the Mayans. But they all came from similar origins, right? Not only did they all come from similar origins, culturally, they all shared a similar idea, meaning they knew about each other. There's no time in Black history where the Black people who lived in Alaska before it became an ice cap did not know about the Black people that lived in China, or the Black people that lived in India, or the Black people that lived in Australia, or the Black people that lived in America. Black people always have known where our people are at all over the world. That's the point I was making about Columbus's journal.
I'm still with you, Hen.
Okay.
You went from aligning with the stars to Columbus's journal, and I'm still with you. I want to ask you this: how did these different civilizations all over the world align their monuments with the stars? What tools were they using?
That means the stars couldn't really move then.
We do have it. It's called an astrolabe. You can Google it right now. It'll tell you exactly where the sun, the moon, and the stars is at all points in times. It's a little gold piece emblem.
No.
That's how they was traveling the world.
How did they do it? I don't know how they did it.
I'm telling you the tools that they used. They was using an astrolabe. It tell you exactly where the sun, the moon, and the stars are. It does not work on a sphere.
No, but listen what I'm telling you. The question that you asked, how did they
what tools did they use? How did they align themselves with them? How did they align their monuments up? Because they knew exactly where them stars were.
No, I'm answering a different question. You said, how did they build the pyramids, right? What technology did they use to build the pyramids? I don't know.
No. What I'm saying is they used a tool. They used a tool called an astrolabe. That's the same tool that they used to travel with. It tell you they would guide themselves by the northern stars, the movement of the sun and the moon. They had a tool that was telling them exactly where it's at. You can Google it. It's called an astrolabe.
So to ask your question and answer it, I'm not saying how did they line the pyramids up. I'm saying how did they physically build the pyramids? I thought that's the question you were asking. How did they?
No, I'm telling you flat out, they would not have been able to align them with the stars on a sphere.
That's not true.
On a sphere, on your sphere, the monuments in the north and south ain't even moving the same, which is incorrect. But that's the way you explained it. You know what I'm saying?
No.
How you gonna line something up with the stars that's not even in the same point on the north and the south hemisphere?
It would have to be flat.
Listen, y'all are confusing two different points. The way that
the points that you made,
works,
though.
The way that the atmosphere works, and the
atmosphere.
Yes, the atmosphere, which is how we see stars.
You're breaking up, bro.
Y'all
definitely breaking up.
I didn't practice. I just came as I am.
Y'all hear me?
She said, "Y'all practice." Y'all been practicing for 2 weeks.
I can hear y'all. I don't know. Can y'all hear me?
So listen.
Yeah,
we can hear
you now, bro.
My bad. I'm just saying.
Wait. My daughter in the background, and she heard the conversation. So she just made a comment to me, and she wanted to go back to what you said, sis, about the Earth not moving and the sun moving. So tell them what you
Definitely.
What's
Definitely.
up, girl?
Oh, okay.
That because of how far away Pluto is from the planet Earth, if the sun were to rotate around the planets instead of the planets rotating around the sun, not only would before the sun could reach anywhere near Pluto, we would either one burn to death or freeze to death, because if the sun moved at all, we would either burn or freeze. If it got too close to us, we would burn. If it got too far away from us, we would freeze.
Okay, so can I answer that?
Okay,
Can I answer that?
let somebody answer. Let somebody answer.
Can I
Let
answer
somebody
that?
answer.
What she's saying is, she's saying that God created Earth and put it on its axis, and therefore, if we move too close to the sun, we're gonna get too hot. If we move too far away from the sun, we're gonna be too cold. So that's how she's explaining that we are rotating around the sun. Because if the sun moves away from us, we get cold, right? We can agree. If the sun gets closer to us, we get hot. So therefore, we are on the same axis, rotating around the sun. Not only are we rotating, but the Earth is also spinning. How do you know we're spinning? Because it takes 24 hours.
Principal in my school.
4 hours for us to spin. And it takes 365 days for us to rotate around the sun. Go ahead, baby.
Completely incorrect. I can answer that though.
Okay, so
sounds very
somebody go ahead and
intelligent.
answer.
He does.
All right, now what happens is you guys are falling in love with the model of the globe Earth. You got to bend your perception to think that maybe something else might actually be going on. You're assuming that the sun is 400 million miles away and it's a huge
93 million miles.
93 million miles away from the sun. I'm not assuming.
Right, 93 million miles away from the sun. Everything else. The sun is. Well, what if it was not that large, and what if it was not that far away? Then we don't have to burn up or die from it.
1,000 square miles.
Right. That's how this is what I'm saying. So I'm asking you a question.
Sir.
What if the sun were smaller and in our atmosphere?
But it's
we would not burn up.
Why we entertaining?
If the sun was in our atmosphere, we'd be dead because
because you're assuming it's burning though. Right. You're assuming that.
No. When you fly above the stratosphere, there's no more weather. It's not an assumption. We understand how rain works, how clouds work, we understand how the atmosphere works. That's not an assumption.
I've been to science class. I can tell you that if you go into space, that there's no gravity. But we've never been into space, though, fam. We regurgitating our indoctrination. Let's talk about the actual.
So you seen the curvature? You seen the curvature up there?
Yeah, there's no curvature.
You seen the curvature up there?
Right?
We've been on airplanes. Thank you.
We talking on each other. We talking on each other. Let's make sure we can hear each other's questions loud and clear.
I'm saying, wait, which way my hand go? It's okay. This way, okay. I'm saying when you fly airplanes, you fly like if there's a storm, you fly over the storm because the stratosphere is only 6 miles high, so you can fly over the stratosphere. So my point is that everything below the stratosphere, we understand how that works. So there's machines that can manipulate.
No, we're disagreeing. We're disagreeing with how it works. That's what I'm talking about right now.
So
you're assuming that the sun is so large that it would burn you if it was close and we're going to dive and freeze if it's far away. I'm saying, what if it's like it says in the Bible and the sun is a light for the day and the moon is a light for the night? What if it's not something that's going to burn you when you get close up to it? That's our indoctrination. Nobody's ever touched the sun to say, you know what, it is hot. You know what I mean?
So then, wait, Henry, can I ask a question? If the sun is rotating and the Earth is not, how do you explain a solar eclipse? Because if the Earth is not moving and the sun is moving, I can get on that too. A solar eclipse, because solar eclipse happens when the Earth lines up and the moon lines up. And I can get on that too.
NASA can't explain a solar eclipse because when you look at the solar eclipse through a thermal lens, there's nothing that ever blocks the sun out.
No. A solar eclipse literally happens because the Earth in such a the moon.
That's what they taught us in school. That's our indoctrination being regurgitated.
So you're saying solar eclipses don't exist?
No, I'm not dumb here. Quit trying to downplay me. What I'm telling you is we're being lied to about what we're seeing. That's all this whole conversation is about. Are we being told the truth or not? I'm saying we're being lied to. Y'all saying we're being told the truth. To regurgitate the indoctrination doesn't make it a fact.
Okay,
so when we see a solar eclipse,
wait, hold on. Let's explain. I want to hear an explanation. So they're saying, I kind of understand what she's saying when she's like, explain a solar eclipse. Because if they're spinning, if they're going around the Earth, then they should never cross paths.
They should never cross.
Not true.
So can you explain that?
Yes.
Explain
yes.
that.
All
Okay.
right. So
All right.
imagine a snow globe.
Okay.
And you have a light in one corner of the snow globe, and you have a darker light in the other corner of the snow globe. And these lights are rotating in the glass of the snow globe.
Okay.
Every however so often they might cross paths. That's okay. So now we're getting into truth versus facts, right? So look, that's what they tell us happens during a new moon. During a new moon, they tell us that the sun and the moon are exactly aligned, and the sun is so bright that you cannot see the moon. During the 8th phase of a new moon, you cannot see the moon. Okay, so in a solar eclipse, they're telling you that the moon is now blocking out the sun. Okay.
True.
But when you look at the solar eclipse through thermal lensing, like private people have done, there is no object that comes into play that actually blocks out the sun. We don't know what we're looking at when the sun goes dark. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that I don't believe in the solar eclipse.
So
there is a solar eclipse.
That the moon is blocking the light of the sun?
The moon does not block the light of the sun. During a solar eclipse, you can Google it. I'm not telling you shit I've seen with my own 2 eyes and I'm guessing at. There's thermal imaging of the solar eclipse. There is no object that blocks the sun. It's almost like a black piece of Pac-Man just kind of swallows that shit. That shit cuts off little by little by little.
So explain it.
So it's a nigga with a piece of paper that kind of just put it right there.
Listen, Google it yourself and watch the thermal imaging. You're going to be like, wow. You know what I'm saying? There's no object up there. I recorded the great solar eclipse that we just had. It was 2017. I recorded that myself. You see the sun get blocked out, but you don't see that same image continue after the sun. Where did it go?
So you're so I understand. So you're saying that the moon does not block the sun in an eclipse.
I'm telling you that through thermal imaging, there isn't an image that shows up. And when you look at the eclipse with your own 2 eyes, you see the image come one way, but you don't see that same image that's supposedly eclipsing the sun continue after the eclipse is finished. If there's an image in the sky and they crossing like this, why don't I see the other side? All we see is this part. It only comes together one way, and that's it. I should see that same thing in the sky still.
So I want to ask the question. So what is happening? What is happening at that moment of that eclipse? Because you're saying thermal energy says there's nothing blocking it, but with our naked eye,
it's your own 2 eyes, right?
Blockage. Right.
What we're seeing is the light cut out, though. That's what I'm saying. Like we be falling into, they telling us there's something blocking. What we're seeing is the light of the sun is going out. That's what we actually seeing. So we can't say something's blocking it because there's nothing up there. There's nothing that's actually blocking it.
So you're saying that somehow somebody got a light switch and all of a sudden they cut the sun off?
I'm telling you, when you look at the solar eclipse, you are not finna see an image on the thermal imaging that's blocking the sun. Y'all can twist it and make yourself sound crazy, but I'm finna stand on what I'm saying.
No, I got.
No, stand on what you're saying. I was just trying to get an explanation.
Let's go. I got the explanation.
The reason the Earth rotates at 1,037 1/3 miles per hour is due to sunlight. Sunlight causes all 9 of the planets to rotate at the exact same speed. 1,000.
I thought we was rotating because of gravity.
If the light of the sun,
the gravity from the
hold on.
light create. Okay, I'm sorry. I got excited.
Light creates gravity?
Absolutely.
Hold on.
I thought mass created gravity.
You said mass?
Are we talking about Newton's theory, or are we talking about a law that y'all didn't, put your own spin on? What's creating gravity now? Are we going to recite the indoctrination the right way, or are we going to make it up as we go along?
You don't have to make it up. It's called centrifugal and centripetal force.
Thank you. Centrifugal force. Centrifugal force is how that roller coaster that Henry talks about works. You don't need gravity for that. That's centrifugal force. If I take a pop can and spin it sideways, all the water finna go to the outside. That's centrifugal force. That's not gravity.
Right. What's the polar opposite of centrifugal force?
Centripetal force, forcing you to the inside.
Exactly. That's exactly right. The Earth's pull on the moon is why we have tides. The sun's pull on Earth is why it's rotating. That's exactly right.
Wait.
The Earth's pull on the moon is why we have tides.
Guys, I need something explained to me because this kind of messed me up. So in one area, we just said that light creates gravity.
Thank you. Touch that.
And then on another hand, we said that gravity is caused by the spin of the Earth.
Absolutely.
I'm confused. Oh, hold on. He's trying to come back in.
Keep making them talk hyphen X all the way till they get back to the words Big Bang Theory.
I've heard that, but I don't even know what that is, to be honest with you.
That's why everything's spinning. How can you not know what it is? And you believe in the globe and it's spinning because of the Big Bang Theory. That's why everything is supposedly spinning and spreading apart.
Yeah. Nah,
An asteroid hit the Earth.
Oh,
That's
but
what
now
it
you
is?
don't believe that though.
that an asteroid hit the Earth?
I never said I believed it. You said I believed it. That's a straw man.
Nah, you telling me that's a globe and it's spinning. How did it become a globe?
Can I get back to the point I was trying to make? If the
God,
sun
You froze, man. Hey, when you freeze, you gotta catch on to the
Like you
combo.
said, I didn't make it to a globe, but God
if the
did.
sun loses,
How
if the
though?
sun stopped shining for a millisecond, the Earth would implode. Like I don't understand what science class y'all missing. This is not indoctrination.
You coming
It's not
about
indoctrination.
This is
So
not
now you telling me
indoctrination.
things you've experienced? These your experiences?
my education.
Listen, light.
Are you telling me things you've experienced?
Light causes
Absolutely.
rotation,
I have experienced
right?
the sun touching the Earth my entire life. I have never experienced somebody turning the sun off.
The
Thank
sun
you.
never happened.
So your husband getting ready to tell me what would happen if that happened?
If the light of the sun went off for a millisecond, do you realize what light from the sun does? Do you know the reason why people study the speed of light, what light does, the power of light? Do you realize that the planet not having light for a millisecond, what would happen to the planet? So if the light from the sun went out for a minute, first of all, there would be no rotation of the Earth. No rotation of the Earth means the continents and everything, because there's no, think about a car accident, traveling at 1,037 and a third miles per hour.
But you're assuming
Everything
that we've always been spinning.
Hold on.
Everything smashes
Oh,
in
shit.
on itself. I don't know about a flat Earth because it doesn't make sense, right? But the sun is what powers everything in our universe. If the sun went out, that's like saying I'm watching TV. I can unplug it from the wall and still keep watching.
Here go the
TV
incorrect
while it's
metaphors.
unplugged.
Nobody said that.
No, but the sun is the source.
The sun is the source that's making
for
the Earth
everything on the
spin, though.
planet. There is no waters moving. There's no tides. There's no gravity. Losing gravity for a millisecond kills us all. So when you say that the sun goes out, you can't have no sun and gravity at the same time. Gravity is caused
On your
by
model of how you feel,
gravity is
on
caused
your
by
perception
light.
of things, according to our indoctrination, right?
No, listen, it's not indoctrination.
But you're not telling me experiences though.
I'm telling you experiences, but I'm telling you, it's like,
Nah,
listen, this is like
you telling me
saying
what they wrote in them books.
Aaron, this is like saying gravity doesn't exist because I've never seen it.
Nope, I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that here. Listen, check this out. Gravity is a theory. If you research the theory of gravity, people have been arguing it back and forth since the beginning of time. I'm not the one to say it doesn't exist. If you want to go all the way back.
What are you talking about?
Oh my God. Okay, listen, man. Look it up. Look it up.
Hold on. Let's get some
Newton
order.
did not ever prove gravity. That's not my opinion. These ain't opinions.
Hold on. Let's whoa. Hey, yo. Let's get some order real quick. Okay, so goddamn. Hey, y'all listen to the Great Conversation podcast, man. We are talking about in 2023 is the Earth flat? And we got this is a spirited debate. We got people on here saying yes, people saying no. We got people in the comments going crazy. We got somebody saying this just makes me want to go do my research, and that's what it's really all about.
For real, just look it up. Just look it up.
Because I kind of want to go back. I want to go back a couple layers. Okay, I want to go back a couple layers because now that everybody's here, I just want to re-ask the question because I believe that Sister Keishonda asked a pretty good question when she was asking about how does Alaska and Russia meet. You know what I'm saying? If a person was walking, but now that I think we all kind of understand that, so we understand that our flat people are talking about disc, a round disc. Correct?
I just want you to know that that just blew my mind today. I didn't know that they thought it was a disc. Like that.
I'm confused.
Okay, so let me interject.
Because when people say flat, you think rectangle, square, something like that.
Right. Exactly. I didn't realize they thought it was a disc. Like I could.
That's what I want to say.
Like I could just take the Earth like a frisbee and just toss that.
No, not like literally.
If you research other creation theories, you'll realize.
Earthers think the Earth is a frisbee. We just throw this bitch every once in a while.
So hold on. Let me finish. Okay, so we're talking about a disc, right? We're talking about flat earthers. We're talking about a disc. Henry went into detail about how all these other pyramids they're aligned to stars. And I remember that Bobby said that the stars don't move, correct?
I said
Nah,
Polaris
Okay, so the northern
the
star
North
doesn't move.
Star. Right.
doesn't move.
Okay, so the north star doesn't move. So in order, God damn, and then Chanel said that the sky was spinning, but the north star does. I'm fucking confused. I ain't gonna stunt. You know, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make sense out of all of it.
Did I lose power?
But y'all did kind of explain how y'all said like the light creates gravity because without light the earth doesn't
No,
spin, and without the
that's horrible.
spin there's no gravity. Is that correct? My
That's
man's
crazy.
been shot back.
I'm sorry, I was calling my daughter. What was your question again, Dinesh?
I kind of want to know if each one of y'all can probably speak on. Let's start with the pyramids.
On my side of the bed.
Let's start there. Let's start with the pyramids being aligned with the stars and being built. Hold on, I think Henry trying to come back on.
Pillow, slide. I'm sliding everything.
Are you there, here? I don't know where he went. So
Just
I kind of want to hear more from Bobby a little bit because he's kind of been pushed to the side a little bit, and then I want to hear from Chanel as well. Street scientist, what do you have for us? Do you have anything to say about anything that's been said? It's been a lot been said.
Man, it's been a lot said.
Like, do you want to speak on any of it? Any of it?
Man, tell you the truth.
He think the
All right,
earth is
fuck it.
round now,
Eric-
so he can't.
Eric-
I don't think
Eric-
it's round though.
If he like,
It's just what get me though.
know
What
what?
get me
Earth is
though?
round,
No,
so I
because
can't-
what get me though is people don't understand theory and what theory is, bro.
Right.
You feel me?
So
It's
so
you feel me?
tell us what it is.
Theory is
What is theory?
theory is basically
Go get my phone charger.
some
Or actually
like
him, 'cause he has a-
basically like
Or mine.
an assumption of some sort. You feel me? Look,
plug my.
Okay. So what are you accusing to be a
no,
theory? What is
no,
what is an assumption that people are
My bad.
making?
Am I interrupting?
No,
that the
no,
earth
you
round.
good. Bobby was talking.
That the earth round.
So the theory is that the earth is round, but you're saying that the earth is round as well because you're saying it's on a disc.
It's a
So you're saying it's not a sphere. You're
No,
saying
it's
it's not a sphere.
No.
Right.
Okay.
Right. That's the. We all agree that it's round. It's just some of us agree. Some of
So they're saying that it's not 3D because I do like the fact. I will tell you a very interesting fact that they said that you can't. No one has ever went north and ended up south, or went south and ended up north.
Thank you.
So if anybody can touch on that,
I have gone south and both north. I've gone from
How?
Madison, Wisconsin, to Montgomery,
Okay.
Alabama. I've gone from Houston, Texas, Chicago, Illinois.
That's northwest. That's northwest to southeast.
I'm sorry. Say that again.
Well, I
That's
think-
what west? Say it again.
That
That's what
ain't
west?
that.
Nobody
No,
has
say it
ever
again.
gone
Southwest?
south and ended up in the north.
I just told you. I've gone from Madison, Wisconsin, to Montgomery, Alabama. Madison
Right,
being
that's-
in the north, Montgomery, Alabama being in the south. I've also
But
gone
that's-
from Houston, Texas.
Hold
That's
on.
not what we're saying,
Chicago,
though, Keishonda.
Illinois. Houston being in the south, Chicago being in the north. I've also gone from Detroit,
But you're saying a bunch
Michigan,
of things we're not disproving though. We saying
all
like,
the way
can you
to
keep
Mexico.
going south? Can you keep going south?
Sure. I've gone as far south as what's the furthest south? I've gone past the equator.
Right. And you don't end up in
Okay,
the north.
so this is what I think is being said because so I think we kind of agree that if you go west and you walk east,
You
you
always
end
gonna
up
come
back
back,
west.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
if you go north, if you go from the North Pole, come all the way down to what
Chile.
round earthers would say the South Pole, can you come back around from the South Pole to the North Pole? Can you
Never
make
happened.
it back to your point without going backwards?
Never happened.
You can't travel. It would be
You
because
can't travel
of
south
gravity,
anyway.
You can't travel that way by air, but you can travel that way by boat, by I guess car, because you run into land masses. But you can't we're rotating east and west.
But look, right?
So everybody can understand the concept of going from east to west and coming back. But we're not rotating north and south. So again, if Aaron pulled off that basketball, just because we're not rotating that way doesn't mean you can't physically go that way. So if you pull out
I'm not disagreeing with that. What I'm saying is nobody has ever done it. And that is showing me that there's a problem with trying to do it. And if you try to physically go south, you're going to get stopped by the military. That's also telling me something ain't right with what's going on.
Get stopped by the military.
Because the military controls Antarctica. They don't allow you to freely move through Antarctica. You cannot continue to go south. They're guarding the southern border.
Yep.
Okay, so let's assume that I start going south in Antarctica.
Oh shit.
And I get to that border. And let's say he goes south to Antarctica and he goes the other direction. We start in the same point. We both end up at the same wall.
We're assuming that. That's the theory. That's the assumption. It hasn't happened in the world. In the history of our world, nobody has ever started off going south and got back to the north.
But what I'm saying is, if we went in opposite directions, so if I went one way and end up in Antarctica and he went the other way, we still end up at the same point because it's a sphere and it's a circle.
And I'm telling you, Keishonda, that's what has not happened. That's the problem with it. People have tried to do it. If you research, sailors have tried to do it. You end up going east to west. You cannot go south and keep going south.
So, okay.
We can get to the military operations whenever y'all ready. You can look up Operation High Jump. Now that's not a theory. That's not a question.
Well,
it's a proof.
Hey, so look, right? So you telling me, right?
That
you can go from West Africa and then end up in Alaska.
Let me picture where West Africa is.
If you go south and then you go north.
If you're in West Africa and you start south and you end up in South Africa, I guess.
No, it's never happened.
If you're in West, just say you in Mali, you can go from Mali all the way to Alaska, from north to south.
No, right. It's never happened.
But like, can you get? I think what they're saying is, can you get back to your start point going south? You know what I'm saying? Can you go back to your start point? Can you start here, right? And then go all the way around and end up back at the top?
Yes.
Why you can say that.
Yes,
but it's never happened though. When you look at the trade routes, when you look at the way people in ancient times been keeping records of stuff, nobody's ever gone that way to get back to the north. They always go around east to west. They'll travel the whole continent of South Africa and come back up north before you just keep going south.
Aaron, the reason people travel east to west
is because the Earth's rotating.
Uses currents from east to west. The currents that people use. So, for example, people talk about the slave ships coming from Africa. To the hurricanes follow the pattern. Also, the sharks follow the pattern. But it's also the drift. So the Earth weather patterns travel from east to west, which is why when people only have boats and there wasn't airplanes and cars, they travel east to west. It's much easier to travel east to west if you have the weather to back you up. If you have the current to push your ship, right?
So what you're saying is, in the history of man, nobody would have ever tried to do it the other way? Nobody would have ever just kept going south?
Listen, back to my point on Black history. Black people inhabited the entire earth. You're saying it hasn't been done. I'm telling you.
I'm not saying that. I'm telling you they used the astrolabe to do it.
The earth is round.
Oh my God.
So I want to go back to what you guys were saying before. So, Bobby, let's say I'm in South Africa, right?
Yeah.
I'm in what's south of South Africa?
Antarctica.
You go. So you're saying when I get to, let's say I'm in South Africa and I go to Antarctica, and then let's assume that I keep going.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's assume.
You're saying that at one point I'm gonna get stuck and I can't go any further south in South Africa. That's what you're saying. I'm sorry.
End up north. End up north.
Once you go past Antarctica, there's more land.
Yep.
What land?
That's what I believe. That's what I
Oh
believe.
shit.
Uncharted land, or maybe
Yep.
Oh shit.
that's what outer space is.
Hey,
Because why would you point a Hubble telescope right there? Why would you put military right there? You protecting and guarding it against something that's on the other side.
Wait a minute. We can't just breeze over that. So you're saying that if you go south to Antarctica, so I'm just gonna call it the ice wall. You go over the ice wall.
They did it. Thank you.
There's other land. There's
more land. Yes.
But okay, so then
And that's where outer space is.
That's
Because you're out of bounds.
Out of bounds.
Because you're out of bounds.
Exactly. It's not space.
Yeah.
It's just out of bounds. Yep.
So then I have another. So then explain to me.
Shut up.
So I'm in.
Wait, hold on. Wait.
I'm in what's that country? And Argentina. I'm in the
Argentina. Yep.
What's south of Argentina?
Antarctica.
Okay. So then if I'm in Argentina and I keep going south, I guess, of Argentina,
yep.
What do I end up hitting? If the earth is flat, what do I run into?
You're finna run into land, which is gonna be Antarctica.
What land though?
Unknown land.
They're calling it outer space.
The continent known as Antarctica is what you're gonna hit first if you go south from Argentina.
How far into the continent of Antarctica can I go?
You would ask the military.
So you think? Wait. Let me get this
So
right.
what? But
Y'all
what if
think-
Zandy, what's
so I
facts?
can only
What's facts, Zandy?
so I can only get to Antarctica from South Africa and Argentina. That's the only
Yes,
way.
you cannot. There you go. You cannot get to Antarctica from the other side. Right. Exactly.
So if I get, so let's say I'm in Australia.
Yep.
And I start to head south. I'm not gonna necessarily run into Antarctica, but I'm gonna.
Yes, you are.
Because there's no land. It's just water at that point. What's south of Australia?
They're saying Antarctica. They're saying that the ice wall is all the way around. They're saying that there's an ice wall all the way around here. That's what they're saying.
Can I ask a question?
Or check this out. Y'all could look up AE map and we could all have the same conversation. AE map. Everybody got a phone. Just Google AE map and look the same. All the questions right there.
No, we can't.
No, you good here? No, we can hear you, Dan. Go ahead.
Antarctica.
You got a question?
5.5 million square miles. There ain't enough military on the. There's not enough military to stop every single person. It doesn't make any sense.
Really?
Listen, you can't stop people from going to Antarctica just because there's a military base there. It's 5.5 million square miles. America can't stop Mexicans from crossing the border, and we know the entire border of Mexico. You mean
Let them do that.
that 5.5 million square miles, the military, the world militaries are watching? It doesn't even.
It's a fact though. That's where NASA came from. Listen here. Look up these military operations. Nobody's making this stuff up as they wake up in the morning. Like, you know what? I don't think you can go no further than that. You know what I'm saying? Everybody doing research. You know what I'm saying? Operation High Jump. They climbed over this ice wall, went as far as you could go. Then they started blowing up the firmament. Operation Dominic, Operation Fishbowl. They're releasing nuclear missiles 100,000 miles in the sky, blowing up the firmament. After that, the world's militaries gathered in Antarctica. After that, you got NASA. After that, you got Wernher von Braun leading NASA, dying, putting it on his tombstone, Psalms 19.1, telling you the Lord's handiwork is shown in the firmament. Them ain't things people wake up and dream about. Them ain't coincidences. That's facts and how it happened.
There's a million military operations that does not prove that 5.5 million.
He cutting out his bandwidth over there. He done froze the screen again. Just Google it, bro.
But I'm sorry. I had another question as far as this glow thing because
Hey, you so excited here, you froze your screen.
Man,
okay, so
I'm on the same Wi-Fi. I don't know why
They making me tight, yo.
Hey, Keishonda over there, she calm and cool. You charging up like Goku right now. Your screen ain't working.
Hey, hold on, no, wait. I missed this point earlier that Keishonda made. Longitude and latitude is how airplanes know how to get to their destination.
No, they go off GPS.
Change the coordinates,
GPS
right?
uses longitude and latitude coordinates.
They're all based on.
Except for you don't use longitude and latitude to get to each state. You just follow the directions. The GPS just fly according to the directions. The pilot is never in the air looking at longitude and latitude.
Okay,
Right. That's how GPS is.
What? Are you talking
The pilot
about?
is never in the air. The pilot is never in the air. The pilot is never in the air looking down at the longitude and latitude lines.
There is no
They're using a
longitude.
gyroscope.
Wait, you
There's
said
no
there's no
fixed
longitude and latitude lines?
What?
What are you talking about?
The pilot flying the plane. We talking about GPS versus longitude and latitude.
They're the same
Why
thing.
y'all be making up these weird questions, man?
Listen to what I said.
You know what I realized?
Airplanes.
Aaron,
They picky fight.
Aaron,
Airplanes
I think
work.
you believe the earth is round. I think you just came on here to antagonize. Like, there's
Airplanes
no way.
Oh no,
No, you only half right. I definitely came on here to antagonize because y'all was going way left, man. Henry said we got a DJ going the stars one way in the northern hemisphere, and they go in the opposite direction in the southern hemisphere. I was up here spazzing out, couldn't get in the comments, man.
That's ninth grade science.
Henry, you know you're not good at math.
What are y'all talking about? Science.
For real.
What are you talking about? It's all big.
Dang.
Somebody know this stuff.
For real. That man know good well. Every time you start freestyling and you do some math, it come out backwards, Hen.
Ain't no math came out backwards. It's all on point.
For real. First, y'all said the light was the reason for the gravity. Then you said the moon was pulling the tides, but the earth is pulling the moon.
They explain that. They explained the light and the gravity because without the sun, the earth doesn't
My melanin
spin.
must have blocked that explanation.
And then the spin causes the gravity. So they made that happen.
He said they made that
happen. No, I'm just talking like they explained it. They explained it very well. Like I understood that.
I'm sorry, I have another question. So one of the things that
right ahead.
One of the things that's interesting is that I've talked to a lot of people, or I've heard a lot of people talk about the earth is flat. One of my difficulties in agreeing with them, I guess, if you will, is many people who say the earth is flat, they don't agree themselves. Like the science behind why it's flat, it's all over the place. Right?
I can explain that too.
Literally, like one person says it's a flat disc. Another person says it's a wall. Another person says you can't go. Like they're all over the place.
No,
I can explain that.
I agree with all of it.
I can explain that.
These three seem to agree.
Gravity, like we all agree on that.
Yeah, because we've been taught that when you unlearn, you have to go off your own experiences. So your experiences might not match my experiences.
I've never been taught gravity. I've experienced it. Right?
You have not. You have not.
So being the hooper that I am, when I
you have not experienced gravity.
Right? I can't dunk, but I can get up there and finger roll it.
Yeah.
I finger roll the ball, I come back down. That's gravity. So I've never been taught gravity.
So listen. It goes back to the root of the conversation.
I'm coming up over the top of your head.
We back at the root of the conversation.
My man said we never experienced gravity.
Going in that net the way it does, that's gravity bringing it back down.
Because of
the rotation of my jump shot.
That's the root of the conversation. Are we believing what we've been taught, or have we been lied to?
I experienced it.
Let Bobby jump in.
Hey, so look, right? Hey, Hooper, right?
Sir.
So do your ball got any flat spots?
Does a basketball have any flat spots?
Yeah, flat spots.
What do you mean? I don't understand. Like a straight, I don't understand.
Just a straight flat spot on
it. No, it's round.
Right.
It's a sphere, huh?
So why the earth got it?
Shit.
So why does the earth have flat spots?
Yeah, it's circular, right? There should be curvature at all times, right?
There is curvature at all.
What are you talking about?
That's your perspective.
196,940,000 square miles. A basketball is 6 inches. You're comparing a 6-inch model to a model of 190,940,000 square miles. You're not going to see the difference.
So I can't compare.
Where you see the curvature at?
You said what?
Where was you at when you saw the curvature?
The curvature of what?
Anywhere, on an airplane, on a boat, in a car.
That's perspective, brother.
Yeah, you can't see curvature. Otherwise, you'll be having this argument.
I'm about to say that's perspective, brother. That's just perspective.
Even the globetrotters will tell you can't see curvature.
After like 35,000 feet or something like that, your mind make you think it's a curve, bro.
No,
it's not even that. The airplane window
because it's curved.
Nah, bro. There's no curvature on Earth.
We should be able to see the Sears Tower.
If there's no curvature on Earth, how do you explain your disc? That has a curve in it.
You talking about on the round outside. What I'm talking about is curvature like a sphere. There's no spherical curvature on Earth. You can go anywhere and look around. There's nothing that's going to curve in the distance or lean towards you or lean away from you. If I were on a sphere, when we drive into Chicago, the building should be tilted away from me. You've never seen that anywhere on Earth.
But we've already explained that. That would be centripetal force. That would be the Earth pulling that's the whole point. Right? The reason why we don't fall off the Earth.
Centripetal force is making the building stand straight.
You said what? What'd you say?
Oh,
What'd he say? I missed it.
He said
what you said.
Centripetal force is making the buildings look straight.
No, the centripetal force is the reason why we don't fall off the Earth.
I'm not talking about falling off the Earth. I'm talking about the Earth is 24,901 miles around at the circumference. So when I drive into Chicago, why don't I see curvature? When I can see the Sears Tower from 20, 30 miles away, why isn't it leaning back a little bit like it would be on a sphere?
You can't see the Sears Tower from Rockford. What are you talking about?
I didn't say from Rockford. Why you be making these weird questions here?
Wait, let me answer the question. The reason why you can't see the curvature, is because of where you are on the Earth. But if you go into outer space, you'll see the curve of the Earth. Because
the Earth is small.
The thing is, you're holding a basketball in your
curvature
hand.
is 8 inches per mile squared. There's 10 feet of curvature every 4 miles. Why I can't never see it?
You can see the curvature of a basketball.
You can't see curvature nowhere.
In your hand.
We gonna leave math alone.
The world was flat. You should be able to see the Sears Tower from Rockford.
Your eyes don't allow you to see that far. Your eyes can only see like 6 miles. And things come to a point anyway. You can look down a hallway, and from the beginning of the hallway, things are wider than what they were at the end of the hallway. You'll never be able to see from here to Chicago.
That's called a 1-point perspective.
Thank you.
I did like the analogy with the basketball and where's the flat surface on your basketball. That was intriguing. I'm not gonna stunt. That intrigued me.
So there should be curvature on the Earth is the point of that basketball analogy. You can go to certain points in the Earth and there's no curvature. It's a 128-mile bridge in Japan with no curvature. You can't go 128 miles on a sphere that's only 25,000 miles wide. It don't work.
Science says that you can see up to 3 miles. Do you know why? Because of something about the horizon. And a horizon.
But Hen, you just told me on flat Earth I should be able to see further.
Hold on, let him finish.
Wait, you said what?
Let him finish contradicting himself?
There ain't no
Let him
contradiction.
finish.
You just told me I should be able to see further on the flat Earth. Now you telling me what science says.
Listen, Bobby just said, you should be able to see like 35,000 miles, right?
No, I did not say
you
miles.
said that.
What did you say?
I said like 35 feet, like 35,000 feet.
Okay, now it's 35,000 feet. Either way, the reason
before your mind make you think that you see curvature,
miles or whatever it is that you see on an average is based on the horizon. Like the sun rises and falls on a horizon. The sun don't rise and fall on a flat line. It rises and falls on a horizon. The
horizon is a flat line. I'm glad you brought that up. Hey, where does the horizon curve at, Hen? Since we on a sphere, where does the horizon curve?
You're looking at it every day. What are you talking about?
No, where does the horizon curve? The horizon is a flat line. It's always a flat line. Where does it curve at? Since we're on a sphere.
It's all on a curve. What are you talking about?
So I'm sorry. I was sitting over here having a conversation with my daughter, and she wanted to say something about the curve. Go ahead, Smile.
So to make this easier to understand, I'm going to use 2D and 3D perspectives.
Facts.
Hey, kids can get it too. Watch out now. I'm talking about easier to understand.
if in 2D, 2D object, you can't see a square. I mean, you can't see a cube. You can see a square.
Facts.
2D.
Facts.
If you're a 3D object, you can see the entire cube because you're in 3D. But if you're a 2D object, you can only see the square in front of you. So it's the same principle with the curvature and not of the Earth. Let's say the Earth is 100 million miles wide, and this isn't accurate. Now you're seeing a bridge, and that bridge is 100 miles wide. You're not going to see the curve, one, because of what you said earlier with the hallway, because you only can see from one point like a 2D object, and two, you can't see the curve because of how small you are compared to how large the Earth is.
Ooh, that's my baby. That's my baby. So what she's saying is,
all right. So respond.
Small, you can't see the massive curvature of the Earth because of how small you are. You're able to see the curvature of a basketball because of how small it is compared to you. So you can see the small curvature and the circumference of the basketball. But you being
if y'all keep letting her talk to me, she's gonna be a flat earther in the morning.
Of the Earth in the 196,940,000 square miles of it because it's so large.
Samaya.
Okay,
let me talk to her then. Since she's talking to me, let me talk to her then.
That's why
let me talk to her.
Outer space to see
let me talk to her.
Tell her. Go ahead.
Samaya, the formula for curvature is 1 mile is 8 inches per mile squared. The Earth is 24,901 miles. It is not so big that we should not be able to visually see curvature.
That's not accurate though.
That's not
What
true.
isn't accurate? I gave her 100% facts. What's not
You
accurate?
said the Earth is 24,000 miles. That's not accurate.
24 at the circumference of the Earth. The circumference of the Earth is 24,000 miles around. Right. I had previously stated, I was regurgitating what I just said. Basically, the formula for curvature that you can Google and look up and apply to anything 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional. 8 inches per 1 mile squared.
Aaron,
Basically,
let me help your point. I know when I said we don't.
Hold on, wait.
The white man
Wait a
says
minute.
it, I know it's true.
A little while ago, they was like, let him finish. I'm at that point now. Let me finish. You know what I'm saying? 8 inches per mile squared. So if you get to anything that's past 4 miles, just to keep it small, you can make it easier to understand, there should be 10 feet of curvature at 4 miles, 128 inches. Okay? Now, so when we get these big, beautiful scenes of the beach, where you can see 10, 20 miles from side to side, not talking about straightforward, from side to side, you should be able to see a crimp in the corner. You have never seen that in your life. We're on a flat surface that doesn't crimp in the corners.
Okay, so two things. I want to read what Google says, but I also want to say to that, we were just in the Dominican Republic, and we drove out on the yacht to the to like a little, I don't know what you call it. It's like an island type of thing, whatever, right? To go kayaking. From the island where we were at to the beach, you can see if you go out 4 miles, you can no longer see the beach when you go out in the Caribbean Sea. You no longer see the land where you just were at. You only see the horizon. Now, this is what Google says. Google says the range of vision for a person is infinite. You can see for miles and miles on a clear day. You can see for up to 3 miles before the horizon due to the curvature of the Earth. Yet, you can see skyscrapers in a further distance in 3 miles due to no horizon obstruction. Like, I'm not making stuff up. This is just the basic science. That's my point. This is basic science.
So baby just said that we are too small to see it. She literally just said that. So why would you think you'd be able to see if the sand was up there and you all the way in the middle of the ocean or wherever you at? Like, how you gonna see that?
And what I'm saying is, instead of looking straight forward and looking to limitations, look for the curve where you can see. You can see when you stand on the beach. You're gonna be at another beach before I will. When you stand on the beach, instead of looking straight forward where stuff is getting blurry at, just look to the right and to the left. You should be able to see curvature in the horizon on the rights and the lefts.
But
Right, thank you. At a rate of 8 inches per mile squared.
Google says the range of vision for a person is infinite. That's the first sentence, right?
Yeah, that's why you can be
and miles. On a clear day, you can see for up to 3 miles before the horizon due to the curvature of the Earth. Yet, you can see skyscrapers in a further distance than 3 miles due to no horizon obstruction. So, if you're talking about the fact that if you're on a flat surface, you should be able to see as far as nothing obstructs you, right? On a flat surface.
I'm going to eat that up when you get done. I'm going to eat that up as soon as you get done. Let me know when you're done, I can talk.
You should be able to see as far as whatever the thing is that obstructs you, right? But because skyscrapers are so large, you should still visually be able to see them as long as there's no obstruction. Now, if there's an obstruction,
let me know.
Day, then you may not see them. But if there's no obstruction and it's a clear day, you should still be able to see the skyscrapers because they're large enough to avoid the horizon of obstruction. That's the point that I'm making.
Okay, now let me eat that point up. At 3 miles, the curvature is beginning to affect things unless there's I can see things that are taller because there's no horizon obstruction past 3 miles, right?
Right, that's what Google says.
Boom. Now, past 3 miles, these things that I'm looking at, they are on the other side of curvature because shit that's on the horizon is being obstructed by the curvature, right?
You lost me already.
Okay, cool. So now I can't see straight ahead, but I can look up at the skyscrapers.
I'm lost too. Go back to that second point. We agreed that at 3 miles, we agree on that. Go to the second point.
The second point being, you said I can see buildings and things that are further away because they're up in the air. They're unobstructed by the horizon, right?
Specifically skyscrapers. That's what Google mentioned.
Okay, so now what I'm trying to get to is these buildings are past the curvature that I'm looking at, right? Because I can't look straight down, I got to look up now, right?
Sure, I think if I'm following you, but I'm not sure.
Okay, so we basically saying that I'm looking at a building that if I was looking on the ground, it's behind the curvature, but I can see it because it's straight up in the air.
Sure.
Okay. My point that I'm making is, why isn't that building leaning away from me since it's behind the curvature?
Why would the building be leaning?
It's on a sphere. It's behind the curve.
Yeah, but that nothing on our planet is leaning. That doesn't make any sense.
Thank you, because it was flat. That's my point.
Sure.
Hey, that was a nice one. You slid that joint in there.
The Earth being a sphere doesn't mean that everything should lean. There's no math to that. That's not mathematical.
If you're on a sphere, Henry, if you're on a sphere and you're looking over miles away, okay, so it's curvature if I'm looking straight. It's curvature if I'm looking straight. But if I look up in the sky, there's no curvature obstruction. But that thing does not automatically mean it's level with me. We're on a sphere. It's past the curve. It's going to be tilted away from me. It's level for where it's at. It's not level for where I'm at. Everything can be level on a sphere.
So, Aaron, let me ask you this: you have that basketball in your hand, right? So let's assume that at any point, let's assume that you put what's that place in Chicago? The Sears Tower.
Yep.
Right? Sears Tower. The base of the Sears Tower is a square, correct? And we can agree to that.
Yes.
So let's assume you put the base of the Sears Tower on that basketball. Is the Sears Tower going to lean, or is it going to stand straight up?
Right. Now, the Sears Tower is here. The Sears Tower right here.
Right. The Sears Tower, right? So let's assume that it's standing.
So then as it get further away from me, is it leaning now or is it straight up? What is it doing?
It's not getting further. What do you mean? Further?
It's saying it's leaning right there.
So this is what I'm saying. Okay, we're here. I'm at the Sears Tower. I'm at the Sears Tower. Okay, and now I'm going back to Rockford. The joint ain't gonna lean away from me.
The ball is not in the camera. Go back again.
Okay,
hold it up.
We're here.
You being petty.
And then we go back to Rockford. It ain't leaning no more. It's straight up the whole entire time. The ball is getting further and further away. You're on the other side of the ball now. How can you not grasp the concept? It's not going to be level all the way home.
It's not that it's leaning.
But
right.
The pencil that you're holding is not curving. It's still a straight pencil.
It's still straight. Exactly. But because I'm moving further away on the curve, the visual that I get would be more like a lean.
But here's the thing. But what happens is, again, you have to account for centripetal force. The reason why the Sears Tower stays there and rotates is because of centripetal force. The Earth is rotating at 1,037 1/3 miles per hour, and the Earth's gravity is pulling us to the Earth. That's why when the Earth is spinning, we don't fall off of it. So there again, you said that there's centripetal and there's centrifugal force. One of them pushes things away from it, the other one pulls things towards it. So if you hold that pencil, if you spin that basketball fast enough, that pencil will stay on that basketball and not fall off of it. But that doesn't mean that the pencil is going to have a bend or a curve.
Say nothing about it falling off.
What I'm saying is, the further away I get from an object on a sphere.
Follow me. The pencil is on the basketball, correct?
Yes, that's our Sears Tower. Go ahead.
Correct. So we're assuming that the basketball is Earth, and we're assuming that the pencil is the Sears Tower.
Correct.
If the basketball spins fast enough, it will not fall off of that basketball. It will stay right where it's at. It's not going to move.
Why? But why does it look level from no matter where I can see it though? Why?
Listen, the Sears Tower and everything else on Earth does the same thing because of how fast we're spinning. That's why objects on Earth don't move when it spins, because of centripetal force, because of gravity.
When I say lean, I'm not saying it should be falling backwards.
Again, if you spin it, eventually, listen, as you started to spin the basketball, the pencil was still straight. The pencil never curved. It never curved. And eventually it got to a point where you couldn't see over the curve, so you couldn't see the pencil no more. That's why, again, centripetal and centrifugal force and gravity is ultimately why the Earth, things on the Earth move. Because of how fast it's moving.
Aaron,
what is that? I can't see that. What is that? I don't know.
I'm trying to make y'all a diagram.
Aaron, when you drive to Chicago, down 90, do you see the Sears Tower the whole time?
You get it right past O'Hare.
When you get past O'Hare, you start to see some of the Sears Tower, right? You start to see some of downtown. The closer you get, the more you see. You can't tell me that because now as you get closer to it and you're seeing more, or if you get further away, the buildings not leaning, the buildings are still level. But the reason you see more or you see less is still based on the same thing that I just read from Google. They literally spelled it out. So I'm not understanding what you're missing. The range of vision for a person is infinite. That's the first sentence. It's infinite. So if the world is flat, we should still be able to see the Sears Tower from here because
no, they get ready to tell you for 3 feet. Your eyeballs don't work like that, huh?
No, wait.
You can't see down the block.
Hold on. Hey, hold on. There's no building larger than the Sears Tower in Northern Illinois, right? Or whatever they call it now, the water tower or whatever, right? Because there's no building larger, that means there's no obstructions from Rockford to Chicago to halt your vision. So you should still be able to see the Sears Tower from Rockford because the range of vision for a person is infinite. That's Google. That's not me. That's what Google says, right?
You can't trust Google.
If the range, I know Elon Musk and all, I know Bill Gates, I got you. Listen, if the range of
why are you bringing it?
If the range of vision for a person is infinite, it's infinite. Yes, it talks. Listen, on a clear day, you can see up to 3 miles before the horizon due. But if there's no obstructions, you should be able to see the Sears Tower from Rockford because there's no obstructions from here to Chicago. That's what Google is saying here. So my point is that.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
You
So,
interpreting
he had a diagram. I think he wants to say something to that because he had a diagram.
That's what I'm saying. If we on a sphere, I don't know if it's dark enough for y'all to see.
Yes, sir.
Everybody is level where their own 2 feet are standing.
Okay.
But if you put level marks all the way around the sphere like a porcupine, as I'm looking from one to one across the sphere, it's not going to be level to me as I look at it. It's going to appear to lean away from me because it's level where it's at on the sphere. Now, curvature says...
Out on the Earth's atmosphere. You see what I'm saying? It's not... You're putting the Sears Tower on the outside of the Earth.
I'm putting the Sears Tower on the ground.
That's the picture that you have is not the Sears Tower on the ground.
Correct.
That you have
right. We're not on the surface of the Earth. We're not on the surface.
Well, y'all, I see 2 points on a circle. What y'all talking about?
They say you got to put the line on the inside of the circle.
I love
it. The
atmosphere.
No, listen to what he's saying. You drew a circle, right?
Yes.
Aaron. So you're saying that we as people, we sit on the surface of the Earth, but we don't. We're inside the sphere, the atmosphere of the Earth. That's the point. That's what he's saying. We are inside the atmosphere. Keyword being sphere, right? We're not on the surface.
That was nice.
The Earth.
So why don't it curve then? Since it's a sphere. Since it's a sphere, why don't it curve? That's my point. Y'all making up these points that I'm not saying. I'm saying it should curve. You're telling me I'm saying it don't.
Person is infinite.
Why don't the sphere curve?
Miles. On a clear day, you can see up to 3 miles before the horizon due to the curvature of the Earth. Yet you can see skyscrapers in a further distance than 3 miles due to no horizon obstruction.
All of our reading comprehension is up. You done read that 9 times. We passed that already.
Y'all not comprehending.
Okay.
No, you ain't comprehending what you're reading.
Aaron, pull that.
You realizing that you trying to apply one specific thing to a blanket of stuff. You're reading a specific thing.
Aaron, it literally says you can see skyscrapers in a further distance than 3 miles due to no horizon obstruction.
I've been ate that up. So it's past 3 miles is the curvature, but the buildings ain't on the side of the curvature though.
Okay, so then do this for me. So put that piece of paper back up that you had. You said, why isn't there a curvature?
No, I'm saying, why don't we see it?
I ate that up because we are inside the atmosphere. We're not on the surface of it.
And that really don't make sense. We're all on the ground. The building is on the ground. My feet are on the ground. Sure. I'm not floating in the sky. The building ain't in the sky.
I agree with you. We're on the ground.
We're on the surface. We're on the surface. The surface has to curve.
The atmosphere.
No, the surface has to curve. The surface has to curve. The curvature does not apply to the atmosphere. The curvature applies to the surface. We don't see curvature on the surface of the earth. So people are calling it flat. We ain't talking about the atmosphere. We're talking about the surface of the earth.
We also don't live on the surface of the earth.
Where we live at?
What? What?
We live in the atmosphere of the earth.
Nah.
The reason why airplanes can fly and go out into the surface of the earth is at the point where outer space meets earth. That's the surface. It's not a physical surface. It's an atmosphere. It's the stratosphere.
Keishonda, the ground that we live on is supposed to be a sphere.
Again, centripetal force is the reason why you don't feel that's the reason why the earth spinning.
We pass things falling off the ground. What I'm telling you is you never see curvature, even though it's small enough for you supposed to be able to see it. Y'all got this fixated idea that the earth is so huge that the curvature is so vast, I can't see it. But when you look at the mathematics, it tells you the earth is 25,000, less than 25,000 miles round at the
96 miles
circumference.
Thank you. You should be able to see curvature on almost a very small scale everywhere. Every 4 miles is 10 feet of curvature.
That formula's wrong. The formula's wrong.
Why is it wrong? Look, Google it then. Google it.
It's not true.
Google it.
You shouldn't be able
What's the formula for curvature? That's the Pythagorean theorem. Tell Pythagoras he wrong. Google it. I'm not making this stuff up.
Again.
Ain't nobody rolling over in the bed being like, I got a better formula for curvature than Pythagoras do. You know what I'm saying? This is research, here. You regurgitating doctrination to me.
The world was flat. Again, all of your sources.
I'm glad you brought that back up.
Hold on.
I'm glad you brought that back up. The idea that the earth is a globe is 500 years old. How old is slavery?
500 years old. Aaron. Okay.
In America.
You're not about to be
in America.
Okay. Hold on.
There is hold on. No, sir. You're not going to tell me that black people that lived in Kemet thought the world was flat. That's not.
They definitely did.
That's not.
I've already told you that.
Black people.
And they use flat earth tools.
Listen, black people who lived in Mesopotamia.
Already proven. Here, astrolabe. Look it up.
Flying around the world. What are you talking about? That's not black history. That's European history.
No, we traveled the earth first. We used the astrolabe. They found it in Africa. That's how we got around the world with the fixed idea of the stars and the suns.
Listen,
come on, man.
Benjamin Banneker built Washington, D.C. They can't even rebuild Washington, D.C., let alone pyramids. Ain't no scientist right now among us that knows how to build pyramids. Mathematically impossible.
And I'm talking about a tool called an astrolabe. You can Google it. This ain't theory. You know what I'm saying?
If the White House were to get destroyed, there's no science to even rebuild the White House, let alone a pyramid.
I'm not talking about rebuilding pyramid. I'm talking about traveling the earth with flat earth tools.
Hold on. Hey, yo. Wait, give me a second. We are approaching 2 hours here.
Oh, wow.
Woo! We are. We are approaching 2 hours here, man. We got a question from one of the listeners here. We're gonna do a part two. It's evident. We doing a part two. But here's one of the questions: what was the very first convincing detail, piece of information that made you all become flat earthers? And if you can just kind of tailor make your answer to less than 2 minutes, that would be great.
Man, I was a skeptic. I never believed. I was researching Admiral Richard E. Byrd. He had a script where it was talking about it might be an inner Earth. In my mind, I'm thinking if there's an inner Earth and they went into a hole in the North Pole through the Navy anyway, because Admiral Richard Byrd is a Navy admiral. I'm thinking, okay, they had to do the same thing at the South Pole. You start looking at the South Pole, you start getting to information about Antarctica. The military operations say they tried to climb over the ice wall and they went into blowing up the firmament, which they found at the ice wall. So that's what got me, you know what I'm saying? Realizing that our own military attempted to blow up the firmament and they weren't able to do it. And that's where NASA came from. You know what I'm saying? The head of NASA tells you it's a firmament. They've been blocking and guarding the south exit to the planet. Like, why would you put a Hubble telescope and only point it south? You know what I mean? Like, there's supposed to be nothing there. So there's obviously a lot more there than what they're telling us. You know what I'm saying? I was a skeptic when I started off. Like I said, nobody wakes up and be like, you know what, it ain't round. You know what I'm saying? You start looking at certain stuff and stuff starts adding up and looking a certain way. And you realize, like, man, not only are they lying about this and that, they're lying about everything. You know what I mean? So for me, it was just research. That's what got me, research.
Absolutely. So the
Okay.
permanent issue that he was talking about, that's what got me as well. Also the part where I found out the continents were all together. I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like that makes perfect sense. Also, basically, just like the whole thing, like the government's lying to us. Like I found out so much different stuff. I'm like, if they lied about this and lied about that, why wouldn't they lie about the earth being flat?
Right.
So I guess I got trust issues with the government, and I'm gonna believe the opposite, whatever they tell me. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I'm with that, but then how do you disagree with science? That's my question.
Because the government, they got something.
The government gave us science too, so you don't think black people had science before the
No,
white man did?
I'm not
See,
saying
that's what I'm saying. We shouldn't get into making derogatory statements like you think you know what I'm saying. It's not like that. What happens is people are unlearning certain things. We're not disagreeing with from a
So you
factual
agree with
standpoint.
science?
This what for real, seriously, straight up. We all intelligent people on this podcast. We just have different opinions. You can disagree with science because science is not factual to a point where it's like, I looked this up and this is what it came down to. Science was all created and applied for a certain reason. They needed the theory of gravitation to disprove something else. You know what I'm saying? That's where these theories be coming from. When you research the science, it's more mathematical than anything. They can apply math to anything. They can tell you that these numbers mean this, so that way this perspective means this. They tell you that the moon and the sun are so many different times different from each other, but so many different times size different, so that the eclipse can happen. But in reality, they could be the same exact size, but you get eclipsed naturally. So when you say, you know what I'm saying, you don't believe in science, we get lied to. It's not that a person just don't believe in science. It's not that simple.
Circumference of the earth. Where did you get that from?
Looking it up.
That 24,000 number, where did you get that from?
Did you
measure the earth?
You look it up.
No. Where did you got who gave you that number?
No, I'm saying you get it from doing research. That's what I'm saying. I'm answering your question. You get it from doing research.
I think what he's saying is that there's some science that he agrees with.
No. That's not what I'm saying at all. That's not what I'm saying at all.
Are you saying that science is meant to be challenged?
Okay, listen. Yes, that's a fact. That's where science comes from. The whole thing about science is testing and disproving factual information. That's what science is. You're gonna take a theory and test it. Okay, so now when you look at the history of our earth, the history of our world, a lot of the things that we call scientific facts have actually never been proven. A lot of arguments that we have in today have been going on since the past time. People just automatically assume that what they call mainstream science was correct. It's not true. You know what I'm saying? When you look at it, it's always been another side arguing the opposite point the entire time. We got indoctrinated towards what was mainstream science. We were told to believe we're on this ball in the air, floating through space, which gives us this feeling of being random. You know what I'm saying? We don't have a purpose. It takes away a whole lot of stuff from us versus as we're a created thing that's the center of everything. Then you live your life different. You wouldn't let people mess with your food if you knew exactly what God intended for you to eat. You know what I'm saying?
That's
so they disprove. Hold on, let me finish making this point. They disprove the creator by telling us that we on this ball and that things are happening at random. If you knew exactly how things were supposed to happen, you would not let them sell you garbage. You wouldn't buy garbage. Things would be completely different if we had the exact doctrine from our creator, not different religions, but the exact creator. So they try to confuse it. You know what I'm saying? That's all that we're going through is that confusion.
That's fair. So you said the Earth was approximately 24,000 miles in circumference, correct?
At the equator.
What do you mean at the equator? Either it's 24,000 miles in circumference
from the all the way around from the equator. He's saying the point at the equator all the way around.
If you have, this is what I'm doing by saying at the equator. I'm paying respect to both models, the globe model and the flat earth model. If you look at that map, I tried to get you to look at the equator is in the middle of that disc. Yeah. It's 24,901 miles at the equator. So that's on either globe or flat earth models. At the equator is 24,901 miles. It's not the same distance if you're gonna say the globe model, if you go higher latitude, it doesn't have the same distance around.
So here's the thing: circumference is math, right? And there is no at the equator. Circumference is a measurement that measures something around. Diameter measures from the equator to the outside of that.
That's a straight line.
So, correct.
Okay.
So when you say the circumference of the Earth, it has to be round. Correct.
So if I say the circumference of a plate from 4 inches in, I can't say that.
No. So what I'm asking you is that you said the circumference of the Earth is approximately 24,000 miles. Correct? Yes. No.
Yeah.
Or did he forget? Yes.
That's what he said.
Okay. So a circle is measured in circumference. You don't measure a square in circumference. You don't measure the circumference of a triangle. You only can measure the circumference of a circle. So what I'm trying to find out is Where did you get that number from?
Well, he already answered that. He said he got it from looking it up. He already said that.
That's fair. But here's my problem with that. He also said nobody has ever walked from north to south and back to north. When did you measure the circumference of the earth to get that number? That's my question. So you're right. I've never walked the earth in the manner that you said it does. But my research in geography, longitude and latitude, is how you explain going from north to south and then back up north. That was the point I'm making. How can you tell me that nobody's ever done that? Nobody's ever measured the earth, but they have. But we're not gonna get into that. That's a whole nother religious.
Right, that's a whole other thing.
Nobody, but who's ever? Wait, let me finish. Because here's the thing: circumference is a measurement, and in order to get measurements, what do people need? Tools. You need tools. Protractors. You need what's that thing called to measure circumference?
He said they had a tool. I don't know what the name is.
Yeah.
But everybody know what I'm talking about. You need a tool to measure the earth. So how can you claim that the earth is 24,000 miles, but you've never measured it?
Well, he said from his research, and he also brought up something about a tool. I am about to wrap this up. We are approaching we are now over the 2 hour mark.
One thing.
Okay, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
So let me just clean this up, right? Because this is another part of the fallacy of what's being taught, right? I'm just reading from Google because I know that the white man is always correct, right? Listen, it says in recent years, the Chilean Australis has become the site of tourists. We know the definition of tourist activity for fly or sail trips to Antarctica. Only a few years ago, the only way for tourists to reach Antarctica was by ship. Now it is possible to fly to Antarctica across the Drake Passage, so saving a couple days of sailing in each direction, and possibly a lot of seasick time to join a cruise ship or whatever to go to King George Island. So here's my point. You can become a tourist, and tourists are allowed to tour Antarctica. Now, it's not recommended that you stay in Antarctica for a long time because it's very hard to survive. So for scientists who go down there to do research, which, by the way, there are, what's this number? Hold on, I just seen a number. It's crazy. It's like, I don't know the exact number, so I won't say it, but it's like around 100 or so. There's 100 different cities or towns set up in Antarctica. 37 of those are mostly scientists, right? But my point is, it's not impossible to go to Antarctica. When I started off talking about a passport, passports and traveling change your life. If you do not have a passport to go see how things operate, we start to believe fallacies. It is not true that you cannot travel to Antarctica. That's not true.
He didn't say that.
Have a passport.
I think he said through.
He said through.
Try to and visit and be a tourist of Antarctica.
He didn't say that.
Huh?
He said there are certain parts around the border, the perimeter, where you cannot go past because.
This nigga back. So.
Oh yeah. Let him come in.
Oh, you don't want to hear what I got to say?
No, go ahead, Queen.
No,
This
ain't gonna never end, bro.
I had your back.
I appreciate you, Queen. Thank you. I'm gonna go back and watch the recording and double check though. But I appreciate you though. Thank you.
Hey, Aaron, you must got the same internet I got.
Hey, this big huge can't be killing me. You know what I'm saying? My phone died.
Facts.
Man,
she got a glass of wine and everything. Hold up.
I was reading off what it says on Google about visiting Antarctica. Tourists,
right.
They have over thousands of tourists go to Antarctica every year by boat and by airplane.
That's what it tell you on Google.
It's not just telling you on Google.
Schedule you one.
I don't have an interest in Antarctica because it's an ice cap, right? It's a glacier.
I'm gonna go to Antarctica. Quit playing.
I ain't trying to go nowhere cold. I want to go to where it's warm, and that's it, right? But you can just look it up. You can go to Antarctica if you want to. So you know what I'm saying? You got the option to go to Antarctica.
I'm not telling you cannot tour. You can't step foot in the country, but you cannot go past the point south in Antarctica.
Yeah, he said go through. He said go through it.
So,
hey guys,
you can't go through
real quick. real quick, we are going to do a part 2. I promise y'all. We're going to do a part 2 because this was fun. And I think that
Dope.
tonight's show, guys, really kind of showed what the Great Conversation podcast is all about. You
Facts.
know what I'm saying? Because you know what we say is that you don't always have to agree to have a great conversation. And this
Right.
was a great conversation. I want everybody to kind of give out your socials, let people, well, not your social security numbers, but how people can get in contact with you. How people can get in contact with you and things of that nature, okay? All right,
It's
so go ahead and let
815
people know how to
Apparel
find you.
everywhere you look. I'm 815 Apparel on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. The 8 and the 5 are spelled out. I'm everywhere.
Hey, D, tell your people in the audience, man, we all work together, so they don't be coming from my teachers. We also do pull-ups. Hey, don't think just because we could argue, but like Pop
Right.
said, we might
Right.
fight amongst each other, but I promise you this. You know what I'm saying?
Fact.
Yo. Yo, CEO Brother Henry, CEO.
Hey, look, real talk. Don't change my schedule no more though after this conversation. You know what I'm saying?
And we gotta do what we gotta do. CEO Brother Henry on Instagram, CEO Brother Henry on Facebook. You can find me there. www.workwithceobrotherhenry.com. KikaFirstAcademy.org. I think that's all my socials. Peace and blessings. If anybody looking to build a school, or if you need mentorship and entrepreneurship, you trying to get a bag, you ain't made your first 6 figures yet, come talk to some folks that can help you get there. You feel me? That's it.
I think this definitely shows the versatility of the school and how we have different intelligent minds that don't have to always agree, and we all working towards the same purpose. You know what I'm saying? We can take 2 hours outside of our life and get our blood pressure up arguing, but Monday through Friday, you know, we pouring into them kids all on the same page.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
So my name is Sis Keishonda, and you can find me in the Rockford area of the sphere of the earth.
we gonna get your socials down. Don't worry. Next time she gonna have Instagram, all that for us, man. I promise you.
I'm trying to tell you.
I'm just Sister Keishonda.
Wait, I forgot the GPS
really good time.
podcast. Look that up on YouTube too. Follow us on GPS podcast. That's Keishonda's one social media, even though it's at CEO Brother Henry on YouTube. But still, the GPS podcast.
Go ahead, Chanel.
Oh, I'm just Chanel Sanders. Come join me on my workout journey. I just work out on Facebook.
Right. She doing a transformation, y'all. Come witness the transformation and get you some too. Okay. Hey man, I want to thank y'all for coming on. This was so much fun. Guys, check me out over at the True View podcast as well. I'm doing a podcast over there where we bring the box office to the barbershop. And we kind of talk about movie reviews and things of that nature. Also, guys, go ahead and I'm going to put that in the link. It's going to be in the description. The Manifesting Journal that I've just put out. Go ahead and do that. Look me up also on Amazon at Thoughts and Quotes of -X, a voice from amongst the people. Get your copy today. All right. This has been fun. And you guys know what we like to say at the Great Conversation podcast is that you don't always have to agree to have a great conversation. Peace.
Peace.
Blessings.